Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Studio City Neighborhood Council regularly scheduled board meeting. It is Wednesday, October 19th. We're calling the meeting to order at 7:04. So let's get right into it. Abby, please call the roll.
You're muted, Abby.
Thank you. Calling roll call for October 19, 2022. Kim Clements.
Here.
Dean Cutler.
Here.
Rhonda Free.
Here.
Oh, yeah, hi. I almost marked you absent. Thank you. Ira Gold.
Here.
Jeff Harwick.
Here.
Julie Julian.
Here.
Scott Mandel.
Present.
Cheap Meehan.
Here.
Brandon Marino.
Here.
Richard Niederberg.
Here.
Karen Sorrow. I think Felicia's absent. I don't hear her. Adam Summer.
Here.
Alexa Steinberg. Absent. And Abigail Velasco, that's me, present. Okay, we have a quorum.
Great, thanks so much. Let's get into it with item 2A. The board is to vote on applicant Adele Slaughter to fill the board vacancy business seat. So the way this will work is I'll turn it over to Adele. She'll make her candidate statement. If you can do it in 5 minutes or less, that would be great. Candidate statement is whatever you say it is, so feel free to state it as you like. Then we'll go to public comment and back to the board for comment and a vote. So Adele, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Can I, sorry to interrupt. There's no president's comments for the agenda?
There'll be announcements C, D, and E.
Okay, great.
Thanks. And yeah.
Hi, everybody. Let's see. I wasn't really prepared for having a statement. I didn't think about it, but I have been coming to the board meeting for a few years now, board meetings, and I just started, for a couple of years, I was on the land use committee, and now I'm the chair of the sustainability committee. And it's really important to me to be of service in my community, and I have been very interested in sustainability issues, trees, you know, the preservation of our tree canopy and the development of native plants, etc. I'm just very interested in that, and I think it's a good role for me. By trade, I'm a writer, poet. I have a book of poetry out, and so I like writing, and I love to teach, and I love to I like to get people involved. I'm very happy with my sustainability, not mine, I don't own it, but the sustainability committee, because I feel like I've gotten people that didn't even know about the board involved in the neighborhood council. And that's something that I think I want to keep working on, is getting different kinds of people to know that the neighborhood council even exists. And I think it's very important that there's a mix of people who are business owners and stakeholders and lawyers and all the different kinds of people that we have on the board. I think that's really, really important. And I commend certain people like, you know, Patty Kirby, who really works tirelessly with the police and with the rescue, you know, and she's, you know, people have roped me into different things, and I'm very happy to be a part of this board. So, and I thought, okay, there's a seat open, and my my business in Studio City is, I have a couple. I teach meditation with my husband, and I also teach writing. I have several writing classes. I don't know if I put it on my resume, but I taught at colleges for a long time, and then I decided it was too much travel, because I was an adjunct professor at like Glendale College and East LA and Pasadena and Cal State Channel Islands. So that's my story. I'm here and I hope you think I would make a good addition to the board. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele. Let's go now to public comment. If you'd like to make comment on this candidate for an open board seat, raise your hand. Timekeeper, each person will have 1 minute, 30 seconds. Peter Cole, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, Peter, and go ahead. Okay, we'll come back to you in a second, Peter. Let's go to Patty Kirby. Go ahead, please.
I just want to say I vote for Adele. Just kidding. I think Adele would be a great asset to the board, adding a lot of her personal experiences and the history of being associated with the neighborhood council, working on it feverishly on various projects through the years. So you go, Adele. That's it.
Thank you, Patty. Peter, if you can unmute yourself. Peter's not able to unmute himself at this particular moment. Caller ending in 688. Go ahead, please.
Hi, this is Diana Nicole. First, I just want to say that I am a member on the Sustainability Committee, so I've had the pleasure of working with Adele as our chair for quite some time. So from that perspective, I absolutely think she would make a good addition to the board. But also, I'm speaking in representing Sunshine Hill Residents Association, which is here in Studio City. And I brought the nomination to our board, and we voted unanimously to support adding Adele Slaughter to the board. So we urge you to make her a board member.
Thank you. Peter Cole, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I was going to make a comment, general public comment. I was out of the room. Are we not there?
That's coming up.
Oh, let me make one comment. Oh, I see what we're doing. I'm looking at my agenda. Thumbs up. That's all I'll say. She's awesome.
Thank you. And just to clarify, public comments on non-agenda items is item 8. I wanted to get the vote of the board members out of the way first before we got to any of the other announcements and non-agenda items. So thank you, Peter. Lower your hand. Jesse, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. So just briefly, I work with Adele as a member of the Sustainability Committee, and I do support her application. I think she's really a devoted community member who, as chair of the Sustainability Committee, has really tried to make it a priority to not only engage the community, but highlight the voices and the stakeholders who really hail from our community and have so much experience and knowledge and, wherewithal to push things forward for our community. So I think she'd make a great addition to the board. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Patrice, go ahead, please.
Hi, everybody. So I support what everyone's saying. I've watched Adele over the last few years. Her energy is amazing. And it seems like every day she's devoting time to the council. And I support it. I think she'd be a great asset for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, go ahead, please.
Hi, my name's Chris Trent. I've been a Studio City resident for 55 years now and currently work with Adele on the Sustainability Committee. I think she would be a fantastic asset to the board, and I support her wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan, go ahead, please.
Hi, I'm Susan Shelby. I am also on the Sustainability Committee and have observed Adele for the last year or so, and I think she's a great leader for that particular committee. And she's also a great community member. And I think she really has the interests of the community in mind. So I think she'd make a great new person on as a board member for this particular position. So thumbs up.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public care to comment on this item? I do have a public comment to read, which we received by email, although we cannot require people to comment, stakeholders to comment via email. They can, and I can choose to read their email. Hello all, I will be traveling this evening and unable to attend. I would like to express my support for Adele Slaughter for the open board seat. I feel she would be a great benefit to the community. Thank you. Heidi McKay, Studio City. And public comment is now closed. We can go back to the board. Any board comments, questions for Adele? Jeff, go ahead.
I just like to say that, hi Adele. Adele is always there. She was at our last 2 movies in the park. She went to the NTP training, so she's really involved in the community. So she has my full support, and thank you.
Ira?
Yes, hi Adele. Any potential conflict of interest? Thank you. Question.
I don't think so. I don't serve on any other boards or work for any other, I mean, I do community work. That's what I do. It's all everything I do is volunteer. I get paid for nothing, nothing whatsoever, except for teaching, writing. So, yeah.
Kim?
I just wanted to say that I very much appreciate all the commitment and the work that you do, Adele. You do always show up. It's wonderful. And even when we disagree, I think it's terrific that you still voice your opinion and get it out there and try to persuade. And I like the way you do that. And I've enjoyed getting to know you and working alongside you here. So
Thanks,
I would
Kim.
support as well.
Thanks, Kim.
Chip?
Well, I'd like to change the tone of things, but I can't. One of the things that I've worked with Adele in sustainability, I've worked with Adele on a number of other projects. I think her background in land use, which is clearly a focus of all of ours moving forward in Studio City, all of that is important in terms of where we're going to go. And watching Adele go through this, it's her enthusiasm, her honest commitment to serve. But more than that, I see that she has a natural reflex to reach out to other than the usual suspects. And I think that not just as neighborhood council, but every other nonprofit in the community is suffering from inbreeding. And I think that we need someone like Adele who reaches out and brings other voices into the mix. So I would endorse her joining us.
Randy?
Hello. I'll try to echo a couple things. I think first and foremost, while I may not agree with Adele on every point, I think a few things are really great for our neighborhood council. One is when she first became chair of sustainability, which really had become a defunct committee. I think actually better than any committee chair, or at least gave any committee chair a run for their money in terms of how well they did. Next thing I knew, Adele had a committee of 12 people. I mean, it was really rather impressive how she reached out to the community, number one. And more importantly, at least for me, when she encounters someone who disagrees with her, instead of making personal attacks and trying to vilify the opposition, she actually, I think I can speak from experience, we have, even when we've disagreed, we have found also points of agreement, and all the way through, I think, have been polite, and how she runs her committee meetings as well. There's an air of curiosity and respect which I think these days we need far more of and not less. So welcome, Adele, and I'm glad you're interested in becoming a board member.
Richard, go ahead. Richard?
Oh, hello. Yeah, okay. Never went to one of the meetings chaired by her in sustainability, except for the time when I wanted to promote the mountain lions in the area, which really need protecting. They should be sustained also. The reason why I don't have to go to these meetings is because I know where she stands and how the committee is going, and it's fine with me.
Okay, I think there are no more hands. All I'll say is, I'll say what I have to say with my vote. Adele knows how I feel. So let's call a vote.
You're muted.
Thank you. Okay, so we're in item 2.8, voting for Adele to become part of the board, Studio City Neighborhood Council. Kim Clements,
Yes.
Dean Cutler,
Yes.
Randall Freed,
Yes.
Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mandel,
Yes.
Chip Meehan. Chip. Yes.
I did that to make you feel better. Yes.
Thank you.
You bet.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Yes.
Karen Sorrow, she's still absent. Adam Summer,
Yes.
Alexa Steinberg, she's absent. Abigail Velasco, me, of course, yes. Motion passes. Welcome, Adele.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you.
So
Nice.
Adele, we'll get your logins for your training and all that other good stuff. I don't see Lorenzo in attendance. He normally, oh, there he is. We'll get back to him in a few minutes. So now we'll go to item 2B. Board to vote on applicant Fiona Duffy to fill the board vacancy youth member seat. Same as before. Fiona, you get a few minutes to introduce yourself and tell us what you used to do when you were with JJ here on the board, on the committee, and then we'll go to public comment and back to the board. So Fiona, unmute yourself and take it away.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be with you all today. My name is Fiona Duffy, and I'm a current junior at Campbell Hall. I have lived in Studio City for my entire life, and I feel very passionately about the amazing community it is and what a great place it was to grow up. I would love to hold the youth seat on this council because I myself would love to have a more active role in the community and also get others my age more involved as well. Last year, I worked under JJ Hoffman very briefly, but we were mostly working with beautification and planting more trees around the city, which I'm very passionate about sustainability and making sure that our community is as eco-friendly as possible. The Studio City Council already does so much to make our community stronger and make it a great place to live. And I would love to contribute to those efforts any way I can and be a resource in spreading word about the council, especially to people my age, and hopefully bring some projects of my own to the board. So thank you so much for considering me, and I hope to get to know you all better. Thank you.
Thanks, Fiona. We'll now go to public comment. If anybody would like to comment on this matter, raise your hand. Kevin, go ahead, please. Kevin, unmute yourself. We'll come back to you, Kevin, in a minute. Patty Kirby, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Fiona, I'm very impressed with your introduction, and I can see that you are an interested person and that you will work with all of the board members just great. So I hope we can welcome you in just a few more minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty. Kevin, are you able to unmute yourself now? Kevin De Leon? Kevin? Going once, going twice. Kevin is having trouble unmuting. So not seeing any other hands, oh, Kevin, did we able to do it? Oh, now you're muted again. Last call for Kevin De Leon. Okay, well, I see Janine. Go ahead, Janine.
Hi there. It's really a pleasure to see Adele on the board. I was coming to the meeting tonight to really voice my support. She's really done a lot of work in the community already, and I'm just thrilled that she'll be joining the board officially. And Fiona is just darling. I agree with Patty. I'm hoping that she'll be joining the board as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. And the last hand is still Kevin. If you're able to unmute yourself, this is your last chance. Kevin's, okay, Rudy, go ahead, Rudy.
Hi, guys. Good evening. I'm just coming out of another meeting. I just wanted to encourage this neighborhood council, if they haven't already or discussed it, consider filing a community impact statement and requesting that our city councilor, Kevin De Leon, and CD 14 resign, along with Gil Cedillo, and that this neighborhood council will advocate for a special election in any city council district where a council person steps down if there's an unexpired term, including CD 10. In regards to the recent news of Paul Krikorian becoming the next city council president, it's very disappointing. As you know, Paul left most of Studio City to the wolves as he transitioned into Toluca Lake.
Hold on, I hate to interrupt. We're not on that item right now. We're on item 2B, which is the youth seat applicant.
Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Thank you for stopping me. I'll come back during public comment. Thank you. My apologies.
Thank you, Rudy. Yeah, public comment on non-agenda items coming up, and I believe you're probably also interested in item 11. So please stay tuned for that. Kevin, can you unmute yourself before we skip public comment from you on this item?
Scott, do you want to remind people how to unmute from a phone in case that's his trouble or something? I guess he's not on the phone, huh?
No,
Never mind.
He's not a phone. So he did unmute for one split second before, but he's having technical trouble. Okay, public comments closed on this item. Back to the board. Anybody have any comments, questions for Fiona? Please, Adele, go ahead.
Hi, Fiona, I think you are wonderful. And if you'd like to join when I'm sure we're going to vote you on the board. And if you'd like to join the Sustainability Committee, we welcome you. So thank you.
Thank you. Julie and then Kim.
Well, Adele kind of read my mind. I was curious if you had thought about which committees you might like to be on, and also invite you to consider the homelessness committee, which I'm a part of.
Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Fiona, please.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I would love to be a part of the homelessness and the sustainability committees. They're two things I'm very passionate about since I was younger. So thank you so much for the offers.
Kim?
I just wanted to say thank you for coming forward to do this and commend you on your very well-spoken introduction there. And we look forward to working with you, I hope. Thank you, Fiona.
Chip?
Hello, Fiona. Thanks very much for your intro. That was great. One of the things that, and you heard me mention it before in terms of outreach, we need outreach amongst all groups. And I think that one of the tasks we would ask the youth member to do is to reach out, not just more deeply within Campbell Hall, but within all of the high schools. It will be tough. You're having a busy year. But if we could get more high school participation in this, the most fundamental part of city government, it would make us do a better job and also would get some real world education in your students, your other students. So thanks very much for making the effort.
Abby?
I didn't forget to unmute myself this time. Fiona, hello and welcome. I just want to say thank you for your interest in wanting to be part of the Studio City Neighborhood Council. And well, I know you have a lot of thinking to do, but let me tell you, cultural affairs, we are pretty cool too. So we look forward to having you on board. And if you have any questions, you could always reach out to any of us. Thank you.
Richard?
Yes, to top of what Abby was saying, I think I'd love to have, if you're and your committee, I know you'll be the chair, basically help out the Luminaria, and you'll probably hear about more of that later. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And I just want to tell everybody, I did meet Fiona at our movie night at Beaman Park for Encanto. She showed up early and helped Barry and I unload the car and set up the tables. Even though she had another event at her school immediately following, she still showed up and pitched in. And I think you're welcome on every single committee. So you're going to be very busy if you join them all. That being said, I think we can go to a vote. Not seeing any more hands from the board.
Okay, let's take a vote. We're voting on item 2B, Fiona Duffy, Kim Clements.
Well, how could I say no? So that's a yes.
Tim Cutler,
Yes.
Randa Freed. Da, 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 da.
Oh, did he?
Is he
He's
gone?
not currently here.
Did he drop off? Is he?
I think he
in the
dropped off.
attendees? Let's see if he logged back on and needs to be promoted.
Let me know if he comes back.
Okay, I'm looking.
Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mendel,
Yes.
Chip Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Yes.
Karen Sorrow, she's absent. Adam Summer,
Yes.
yes, okay.
I forgot Adele Slaughter.
No, I have her, but she's at the bottom because I already have my little sheet made. I got her. Alexa Steinberg, she's absent. 1 second. I'm doing this on the computer, so. Abigail Velasco, that's a yes. Adele
A
Slaughter,
resounding yes.
yes. Okay, motion passes. Welcome, welcome, Fiona.
Thank you so
I think
much.
this, I think this real like world community advocacy and municipal participation, I'm surprised more, especially these very grounded kids in our community are not participating, because that really kind of bolsters a college application in a different way than volunteering, because it's more than volunteering. I think we ought to, promote this if you like, or just keep it all for yourself and get into all the colleges. So. Welcome.
Thank you. Lorenzo, I see you. Can you swear our two board members in?
Sure. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get that for you. 1 moment.
Alrighty, Adele and Fiona, if you don't mind raising your right hand and repeating after me, each sentence. I'll start now. I pledge to represent my neighborhood and community with dignity, integrity, and pride.
I pledge to represent my community with dignity,
Integrity and pride.
integrity, and pride.
I will encourage other points of view, even when they differ from my own.
I will encourage other points of view, even when they differ from my own.
I will respect, value, and consider everyone's opinion.
I will respect, value, and consider everyone's opinion.
I will find the good in my neighborhood and praise it and promote it.
I will find the good in my neighborhood and praise it and promote it.
To my neighbors and to neighbors throughout the city of Los Angeles, I pledge to do this to the best of my ability.
To my neighbors and the neighbors throughout the city of Los Angeles, I pledge to do this to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, you both have been sworn into the Studio City Neighborhood Council. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lorenzo.
No problem. You're welcome, Scott.
So now we're going to move on to item 2C, my announcements, which usually come ahead, but I wanted to have the board members, the new board members sworn in before that. So C, I'll just read it. Announcement only. Land Use Committee vacancy. The position of Land Use Committee Chair is currently available. If you're interested, please email me, smandel@studiocitync.org with a statement of interest. And right now I'm serving as the acting chair. D, announcement only. Just again, I can't clarify this enough. You cannot sign up for our agendas on our website. You have to go to the city's ENS subscription. So I'm going to read it as it says on the agenda. To subscribe to the SCNC agendas, please sign up at, and there's the link. It's the Subscribe Agendas Neighborhood Council at the lacity.gov. Signing up on our website only gets you our email blasts. So we're working on getting our website corrected so we have that clarified. Next announcement only, E. The president is responsible for creating an ad hoc election committee for the Studio City Neighborhood Council election. Any members of the public who are interested, please contact me at smandel@studiocitync.org with a statement of interest. Per our operating procedures, Section 1, Administration of Election, the president shall create an ad hoc election committee to facilitate elections no less than 4 months prior to the election. Everyone on the election committee shall be a stakeholder. Board members need not apply. And that's enough of the announcements. We'll go on to item 3, the secretary report. Abby, go ahead.
I'm muting myself. Hello, so I have the September, if you've received in the agenda, the September 21st, 2022 board meeting minutes with attendance report, training compliance, comments, etc. Do we have an approval without objection? Is that a thumbs up or emoji? Means yes. Okay, excellent. And second, Fiona and Adele, upon completion of your training, please let me know so I can add you to the budget. And last, just want to take a minute of your time. Last month, we concluded all Movies in the Park events, and each event was a huge success because of you. Yes, you board members, committee chairs, and committee members, and wonderful volunteers. So thank you. Your lovely participation, whether it was behind the scenes and or at the events or somewhere in between, the entire production made a huge difference and positive impact to our beautiful Studio City community. During this planning, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to work closely with Scott, Randy, Kim, Brandon, Lana, and Barry. I learned so much from each of you. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with me. I look forward to continue collaborating with you next year and next events, and to the entire community, Cultural Affairs Committee and Outreach. You rock. Every single member was always on top of things. Last but not least, on behalf of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, I would like to thank all of our partners, that is Beaman Park, Adam and Stephanie, who always go above and beyond in every single event, Council District 4, Compass, and Paramount. And of course, a special thank you to all stakeholders and young stakeholders who attended the events, because you could have been anywhere else, but you opted to be with us, to spend the day with us and the entire evening. So thank you. We appreciate you and we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming events. So stay tuned. Thank you. And I would like to pass this over to our President, Scott.
Bravo, Abby.
Bravo to all of you too. So kiss your brain, give yourself a pat. I'm a teacher, remember, so.
On to item 4, Jeff Hartwick, can you follow that?
I can't, so I'll be very succinct. All CISs from last month have been distributed to council members, et cetera, and uploaded to the respective council files. Thank you.
Oh, if I may, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for Jeff, for the minutes and for filling in for me last month. I appreciate it. Thank you. Over.
My pleasure. I learned a lot from the experience.
It's fun, huh?
Great. Now on to item 5, Treasurer Report. Kim Clements, go ahead.
Okay. First matter is just straightforward, so I will just read it here. Motion, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the monthly expenditure report for September 2022. Can I get a second, please?
I second it.
Thank you.
Great. We'll now go to public comment. We're on item 5A. Anyone care to make public comment on that particular item? Raise your hand. You will have a minute and a half. Kevin? You able to unmute yourself? There you are.
Yes, and thank you to the Dun parasite, as they're called, for not telling them to take public comment for the 2 new appointments. Yes, you can see Scott slipping into that power vacuum, becoming a little more like Murray every day as he holds that gavel and sits on that throne. Anybody that sits on that throne is given a title, president. See, because Scott's not a human anymore. No, he's an elite now. He's the president of this neighborhood council. And you saw what handled the Randall Freed. Yes, that's what he used to be called. Then he became president and became Randy Fried Chicken, doing business as Randall Fraud.
Hey, Kevin, we're talking about, hold on a second, 5A, the monthly expenditure report. Can you try to stay on that topic for now?
Yes, but the problem is, human, you gave all those officer reports. I raised my hoof and you would not let me speak. You're becoming like Nuri. And now the board needs to take action and learn from the lesson of the recording. It's on the tape that when you have a president that gets out of control, you step right in immediately, just like they're going to do in the Kremlin. I call on Brandon.
And that's time. Please conclude your remarks.
Brandon will have to step in and stop this tyranny.
Not seeing any more hands for this particular agenda item. Public comment is closed. Back to the board. Raise your hand if you have anything to say about this item. If not, I think we can go for a vote.
Okay, so we are voting on item 5A. Kim Clements.
Yes.
Dean Cutler.
Yes.
Randall Freed.
Yes.
Ira Gold.
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick.
Yes.
Julie Houlihan. Julie? Where'd she go? Julie, you're muted.
Apologies, yes.
Okay. Whew, I'm not the only one. Okay, yes. Scott Mandel,
Yes.
Chief Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Yes.
Karen Sorrow. I believe she's absent. Adam Summer,
Yes.
Alexa Steinberg. I believe she's absent. Abby Velasco, that's me, yes. Adele Slaughter, ineligible. Fiona Duffy, ineligible. Motion passes.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, so the second one, I have to explain that Web Corner had brought to my attention earlier in the year an invoice that had been outstanding from May, June of 2020. I guess they found it in going through their records, whatever. They asked me about it. I brought it to the board. We did vote on it, and I could have sworn that it was taken care of and input in the system, and seems that it was not. Somehow it did fall through the cracks. So I'm bringing it to you again. If we can get this taken care of, they will be happy with us. So motion, the board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the Web Corner invoice number 21326 for May, June 2020. Can I please get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you.
Excellent. On to public comment. We are talking on item 5B, the Web Corner invoice. Kevin, do you have something to say about that? Go ahead.
So, we have some deadbeats here, don't we? This was during the Randall Fraud administration. Shame on you, Randy, for not paying your creditors on time, making them go back and look and find out that you screwed them out of an invoice during COVID. Yes, well, most likely they probably got CARES money to cover it. But since you guys like to issue checks to anybody and everybody, you won't ask them, did you get COVID reimbursement? Did you consider this a bad debt? No, because you want to cover it up. You said they'd be happy. This isn't about feelings. This is about money. How come they weren't paid? Why did they wait so long not to get paid? Is there a recording of a conversation about this? Yes. And anything said, was anybody with the blacks? That's what we want to know. Yes, this sounds very intriguing, doesn't it? Sounds scandalous. I will let Randall Fraud explain why this happened and what the fuck happened not to get paid. Why didn't you find the mistake? Why did they have to go back and find the mistake? Yes, you're
That's time.
mismanaging
Please
our
conclude
money.
your comments.
Yes, you're mismanaging our, and I'm gonna blame Brandon also for this because he should have watched the star while Scott's on his power trip. I agree. Absolutely.
Onto the board now for this agenda item. Not seeing any hands raised. Let's go to a vote, please.
We're voting on item 5B. Kim Clements,
Yes.
Dean Cutler,
Yes.
Randall Freed,
Yes.
Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mandel,
Aye.
Chief Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Yes.
Karen Sorrow, absent. Adam Summer,
Yes.
Alexa Steinberg, absent. Abby Velasco, yes. Adele Slaughter, ineligible. Fiona Duffy, ineligible. Motion passes.
Great. For the next item, does anyone, would anyone care to screen share this for the revised budget? I think it would be helpful. Does anyone have it handy? And then Kim.
I'm
you
not
can-
I got it.
wonderful with the technical. You've got it, Ira.
Hey
Thank
guys,
you.
just give me one sec.
And then Kim, just go ahead when ready.
Okay. I'll just start by saying, absent a budget meeting before this, before our neighborhood council meeting here, I wanted to bring this to the board just to get us moving with the additional 10,000 rollover funds that I've been told we could go ahead and budget for. We're aware of some things coming down the pike, some people interested in receiving funding or requesting funding, as well as since the original one that was budgeted for 32,000, it's come to my attention that the elections require a lot more than was originally budgeted for, which had been based on a prior year that I saw when it was originally done, had no idea. But so just some highlights on what was changed here. On this first page here, the website G Suite that we voted on, I think at just the last meeting, in the amount of 800 was added. That's at I think it's $60 a month that we've added in order to have this. I had to take a little money out of a couple places that seemed like it'll be, I think I took some out of electronics, computer printer there to help cover that. And because we are still not yet doing these in person, I was able to take some funds from the refreshment snacks for meetings to help balance that section. But so that's pretty much, I think, what was changed there. I think a little extra too was added in for the this additional invoice for the web corner, which didn't get paid. So, and then scrolling down, go ahead. Thank you. We may even have, I should mention that we have on the events and movies in the park, which is in the top section there under outreach. I think I don't have at hand the exact amount that we spent on the movies in the park, the two of them, but I think it was well under 4,500. So we may have some extra dollars that can be pulled from there. And again, these budgets this is ever changing. We can rejigger this at any point, but this is just something to, placeholders to keep us going. In the election expenditures category, as I said, that was originally at 4,000. I have had comments from two people on the board, one who said as much as 11,000, or it has cost 11,000 in the past. Another one who said the city would like to see us spend 9,000. I think in some preliminary discussions, which I'm sure we'll have, the ad hoc committee will have a lot to say, and we'll have further discussions on that. But one other person had mentioned that they felt 9,000 was even a lot. So I have it pegged right now at 8,000. We certainly could change this, but in order to sort of fill these things up forward, going down to the next sections, the neighborhood purpose grant and the community improvement projects, some money, I think I took some money from the neighborhood purpose grants. I think that might have been at 5,000 before, it's now at 3. And the community improvement projects, we did already spend 5,000. That was for a beautification association early on that had been left over from the prior fiscal year. So part of our rollover funds this year kind of covered that. So there's currently in that category an additional 5,000 available. So that is where it's all sitting at the moment. Again, this is always fluid, and we can change this up later, but this is just to get us going. So does anybody, I'm happy to discuss or answer any questions anybody might have.
Thank you, Kim. We'll go to public comment and then back to the board. So Kevin, you have a comment on our budget? Go ahead, please.
Yes, what did we hear? Not generally accepted accounting principles. So you just take money from one pot, move it over to another pot for another expense in another pot. Yes, we have a name we call that when it goes too far. The money laundering. That's right, yes. It's a bad habit. Don't start. If you made a mistake, you take it back to the budget committee and ask for an amendment. But as Brandon knows, they didn't hold a budget committee meeting. No, they short-circuited everything, and that's why Brandon looks so worried. You can see the downfall already happening of this administration. Maybe it's going to be even worse than Randall Free fraud doing business as fried chicken. Yes, I see serious problems here. When's the last time we bought snacks? March 3rd, 2020. Right. Why is there a snack account? Why was the money taken out for the expense? Why? You have to go back and backdate your budgets. You have to take the money out of your 2020 budget. Yes, you probably allocated it. Did you do that? No. I call on the person from the NAA to declare this meeting suspicious and rule that it's out of order and adjourn it immediately.
And that's time. Please conclude your comments.
These budget funds have me worried. I'm calling Nuri Martinez right now. Nuri, you've got to see this.
Patrice, go ahead, please.
Hi again. Nice job on the budget. I know that must have taken you tons of time, and I'm sure it's appreciated by the whole board. I'm just curious, who's responsible for the website at this point? Is it Web Corner, or when, I'm sure you guys have seen it, when you log on to the website and there's all these pretty pictures with some verbiage, and it goes by before you can even read what it has to say. So I'm wondering, is that Web Corner that's responsible for that? Anyways, thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other members of the public wish to comment on the budget as was just presented? Please raise your hand. Not seeing any comments. Oh, no, he already spoke. We're going to go on to the board. Chip, go ahead, please.
I take it back. I can't recall what the question was. Oh yeah, Kim, what is our fiscal? It's not a calendar fiscal, right? Is it September through August?
July 1st through June 30th.
So we have ostensibly 7 months to find a place to spend what seemed to be excess dollars that we weren't anticipating.
Well, we were anticipating them. It does roll over. For the unused funds do roll over from year to year. They have been for a while anyway. So, but we were not allowed to budget for them in the beginning until the city clerk's office did their accounting and their things, and I guess to make sure that we were actually going to be getting it. So, which we are.
So should we be looking for a place to opportunistically apply that extra funding, like cleaning up the community sort of thing? Or do you need to hold that until you firm up what the cost of the election is going to be?
That, well, there are some funds even, yes, we do currently have some funds that are kind of that could be squeezed out of that budget for something to be added. As we know, there is currently, we don't have any community improvement projects in front of us requesting funding. There is one that may be coming down, but yes, there are dollars available essentially, correct?
Okay, thanks.
Brandon?
This is less towards Kim, and I see George in attendance. He'll probably have something to say regarding CD4. It's a very new news story. Gavin Newsom declaring that the COVID emergency will end in February, at least preliminarily speaking. It's still very soon, and winter hasn't begun yet, really. But we'll have to start looking at maybe returning to Radford for board meetings. And that's not necessarily in the budget yet because it hasn't been, it's still about a day old, the news story. I have no life. I attend other NC meetings and look in to see what they're doing. And the story's only about 1 or 2 days old, so I don't think our NEAs have had a chance to put together a comment on it. But it looks like we're going to start maybe having live meetings as early as February or March of next year. So I would love to see from George or Dunn in particular a hard call on that so we can get in early on the budget and make corrections and adjustments for it. Thank you.
And there is currently 12,000 in that budget for meetings, for refreshments and such, which from prior discussions, seem to be a good ballpark. A lot of this is cushioned, so we're not working within minute margins on things here.
I was gonna also mention Brandon, the general. I mean, I hope at some point we go to live meetings, but just taking a pulse from what I've heard from forums from other neighborhood councils is there's no mandate coming in from Dunn about live meetings. So we'll continue to have this option. Also, the positive, at least initially, what I garnered is we had way more attendance at these Zoom meetings from the public, but that's certainly tapered off significantly to the point where I'm not sure it's it's of any consequence. But that was something that you could look at as a net positive, and that's where you've talked to other neighborhood councils who are still maintaining a significant increase in their attendance at board meetings comparatively to the percentage we've kind of dropped off. But so it won't be a mandate, and so that we can put that into the discourse.
Thanks, Adam. I think we're anxiously waiting direction from Dunn about what to do next as far as that goes. Not seeing any more hands. Can we vote on this?
Yes, 5C. Who seconded this? Did I miss it?
I will
Richard?
second.
Who's, okay, so then I didn't miss it. Okay, see, I was paying attention. 1 second. Julie.
Richard Niederberg wants to talk.
Richard, yes.
I just wanted to say, as of 2 years ago, our monthly fixed cost for pizza, Greek salad, and stuff basically went from $150 to $175. I'm thinking we allocate $200 per month. That does not include water or ice from the studio. That would be what I think would probably be a reasonable amount to allocate when it comes to the refreshment part of board meetings at the studio. If we have to get other things for committee meetings there, I'm not talking about that. I'm only talking about board meetings in MPR3, which is the most important one. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're voting on item.
I'm not even sure I actually read the motion. I think we went directly into a discussion. Did I read it?
I don't think so, because we didn't.
I don't think we had a second. I think you're correct.
A second.
Oh, okay. Well, just to be sure.
Go ahead and read it, because
there we go. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Motion, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the revised 2022-2023 budget. May I get a second?
I will second it.
Second it.
Okay, thank you. So we're voting on item 5C.
A point of order, do we have to go back to public comment or do we go to vote?
Lorenzo, speak.
Yes, a public comment would be great.
Sorry, y'all.
We'll have to go back to the recording and see if we actually did read it or not, but out of an abundance of caution, Kevin, tell us about the budget.
Yes. Look at the look on Randy's face. Lorenzo turning against you and your criminal enterprise. Lorenzo's going to cooperate. That's right. And good for Lorenzo. And I urge more cooperation. Yes. Yes. Trying to pass motions without a second. Moving money from one place to another. Scheming to find a way to get around the state of emergency that was passed today by an 8-2 vote. Yes, two of the most disgusting people on the council voted for freedom today. Joe Bucket Buscaino and federal staffer B. John Lee. Yes, two of the biggest fucking lowlifes in the world actually supported democracy. What is this world coming to? I wonder how Kevin De Leon would have voted.
I would have voted to end all the mandates. I believe in freedom.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank God. And I'm glad you didn't resign yet after hearing that. So again, what are we doing with this budget? And when we meet in person, how do you know Radford's going to accept you back? It was bought by a new owner. Maybe they'll evict you and send you back out in the street, or you're going to have to meet in a lowly place like Eric Providence children's library, for example. Wouldn't that
And
be
that's time.
awesome?
Please conclude your
Good
comments.
Lord. Good Lord. I hope we can go back to that studio and
I think we can vote now.
Barry had his hand up.
Go ahead, Barry.
Thank you. Radford Studios has welcomed us back months ago. They're just waiting for us to be allowed to hold our meetings, but they can't wait for us to be back on the lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Now we can vote.
Okay. For 3 times is a charm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rudy had his hand up. Rudy, go ahead. Where'd Rudy go? Rudy dropped off. Okay, let's vote quick.
Voting on 5C, Kim Clements.
Yes.
Tim Cutler,
Yes.
Rhonda Freed,
Yes.
Ira Gold,
Yes.
Deb Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mandel,
Yes.
Pete Meehan,
Yep.
Brenda Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg. Come on, Richard. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Karen Soros absent. Adam Summer,
Yes.
Alexa Steinberg absent. Avi Velasco, yes. Adele Slutter, ineligible. Fiona Duffy. Oh no, she's not. Yeah, can they? No. Adele Slutter, ineligible, and Fiona Duffy, ineligible. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 6, Brandon, go ahead.
Okay, just a few announcements. Anybody who's really into the Hollywood spirit's gonna have a heck of a time the last couple of days of this month. We've got 3 events happening in our area, all within a couple of days of each other. We have October 29th at, I believe that's at Beaman Park, Studio City Recreation Center right over there in Moore Park near Whitsett. We're gonna have a Halloween festival from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. That's October 29th. If you're really into this stuff, right before that, there's a Halloween carnival happening over at the Victory Vineland Recreation Center, hosted by, I think CD2 is part of that. And the first one, the Halloween Festival, is not sponsored by us. I'm just making an announcement. It's LA Parks. And the Halloween Carnival, before that, from 12 to 4, over at Vineland Recreation Center, is also LA Parks. After that, a couple days later, at the Los Angeles Public Library at the Studio City branch over there, actually right next to Beaman, over there on Moore Park, just west of Whitsett, we're going to have a Dia de los Muertos screening of Coco, Disney Pixar's Coco. That will be Wednesday, November 2nd at 5:30 p.m. All 3 of these events are not part of the Studio City Neighborhood Council. We do have an interest in the Coco event, but it is basically an LA Public Library event that we have some participation in. So end of this month, it's going to be quite a time for people who love events, outdoor events, and also movies. So outside of that, I have nothing more to add.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for those announcements. Those items are not being considered by the board. There is no action. Those are just announcements. So we are going to move on to item 7, announcements by government representatives. And we're going to welcome Sean Reagan and ask him to go first. Sean, introduce yourself, please. Sean, you should be able to unmute yourself. You're a panelist. So go ahead, and there you go.
Yes, hello. Sorry about that. Momentary technical problem there. Thank you all very much for having me. I wanted to ask, how long do I have to speak for?
If you can do it in just a couple minutes, because we have a pretty full agenda.
Of course, I will do my, I'll do my best.
And tell us whose office you're from and all that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So want to start off by thanking you all for having me. My name is Sean Regan, and I work as a staff assistant in the office of Congressman Brad Sherman, which means I wear many hats and do a little bit of everything from field repping to casework. Once again, I want to thank you all, the good people here at the Neighborhood Council, for having me. I'm always grateful for the chance to speak with our constituents. And Congressman Sherman, I know, is a big supporter of your efforts, in particular for the city and the tremendous work that you do to keep us all connected as a community. He'd be here himself tonight and would be more than happy to talk to you for an hour or three about all the great work our office has been doing. But he's just returned to DC to finish out the legislative term strong after a solid month here in California. And so, for better or worse, y'all are stuck with me. Congressman Sherman believes in constituent service, civic engagement, bringing the government closer to the people. To that end, one of the best ways that our office has been able to do all of that has been through our telephone town halls. Now, as much as the congressman and myself would love to answer all the questions tonight and however much time we have, we're obviously limited to time. However, if you join our next town hall, which is going to be on November 17th at 7:00 p.m., we can answer more of your questions. So I implore all of you to join our next telephone town hall, and I hope to see you there. Now, in regards to updates, I had 3 points I wanted to harp on. Wanted to focus on the congressman's efforts regarding improving transportation in the Valley, reducing airport noise, and alleviating homelessness. So let me try to get through this as fast as I can. Speaking to the first item, Congressman Sherman believes that reducing congestion and improving transit service in the San Fernando Valley is critical to the competitiveness of our regional economy as well as our quality of life. To that end, the congressman testified before the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee last year to increase federal funding for the Sepulveda Pass Corridor project, which will link the valley to the Purple Line in West Los Angeles with a future connection to LAX, and will provide the best opportunity to draw large numbers of commuters out of their cars and lessen the traffic on the 405 and 101. Metro is currently conducting an environmental review of both monorail and heavy rail alternatives. Congressman Sherman also secured federal funds for the Orange Line, which now carries a daily average of 30,000 riders, give or take, along a dedicated busway from Warner Center and Woodland Hills to the North Hollywood Red Line station. Although it's unusual for Congress to set aside such funds for local street improvements, the city of Los Angeles has resurfaced over 16 miles of roadways throughout the West San Fernando Valley using federal funds that Congressman Sherman secured for valley transportation improvements. These funds also provide for street lighting and intersection improvements. Secondly, Congressman Sherman stands with residents demanding that the FAA reduce aircraft noise over our communities immediately. The FAA's implementation of a new navigational system called Metroplex has concentrated flights over schools and neighborhoods in the South San Fernando Valley, causing serious injury to quality of life. There have been public forums, multiple pieces of legislation introduced in Congress, numerous formal requests from members of Congress, a lawsuit filed by the city of Los Angeles, and still the FAA refuses to act. This is unacceptable. That's why Congressman Sherman joined his colleagues in introducing the Decreased Noise Level Act, which would force the FAA to abandon these defective metrics and allow communities impacted by changes in flight paths to receive full environmental review before changes to flight paths are made. He's also opened the request by Hollywood Burbank Airport, he's also opposed the request by Hollywood Burbank Airport to build a replacement passenger terminal in the San Fernando Valley. The congressman maintains that we should not be considering any airport expansion plans that could lead to more noise and other negative community impacts until the FAA has taken successful steps to dramatically reduce the aviation impact on the community. And finally, when the Committee on Appropriations announced that members of Congress would seek federal funds for community projects in their districts last year, Brad Sherman made it a priority to address homelessness and poverty in the San Fernando Valley. President Biden signed into law a fiscal year 2022 appropriations bill that included the congressman's requests for $2 million to the Hope of the Valley Rescue Mission for their services to prevent, reduce, and eliminate poverty, hunger, and homelessness, $1 million to Baby to reach 120,000 to 300,000 children living in poverty by providing basic essentials like diapers and infant formula. $362,000 to Labor Community Services of Los Angeles to provide food at local food pantries and large-scale food distributions, as well as to provide emergency rental and mortgage and utilities assistance to those who have immediate needs. It's particularly unacceptable that thousands of veterans who served our country are without shelter and proper medical treatment, which is why Congressman Sherman worked with the California delegation to help pass the West Los Angeles VA Campus Improvement Act into law. This allows the VA to contribute land use revenues generated at the West LA VA campus to the development of supportive housing and services for homeless veterans. Keeping in mind that our efforts to reduce homelessness must begin with measures to prevent the housing insecure from losing access to housing in the first place, Congressman Sherman was proud to support the American Rescue Plan, which expanded the child tax credit.
Excuse me, Sean, I just don't want this to get into become like a campaign speech and.
And also, why is it the first time the office has had any outreach
Hang on a
in
second,
2
Adam.
years?
Just hang on a second, Adam.
Why are we gonna waste our time now?
And I was hoping if you had maybe updates that are very specific to what's going on right here in Studio City, rather than.
I understand. I do.
Because then I have to contact the opponent, Volotsky, and I guess.
I suppose I did make it sound a bit. I do apologize. I did not intend for this to come across in any way like a campaign speech, than purely here in a governmental capacity. I'll just go ahead and bring it to a close. We want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward, and we want to make sure that we're, like I said, bringing government to the people. And it's true that in the past, we have not always been at the forefront of being out to the community as we'd like to. So we're trying to make sure that we reach out to more and more local neighborhood councils like here in Studio City, want to make ourselves available. I'm just going to go ahead and close by just once again, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I'm going to go ahead and plug that telephone town hall again on November 16th. Anything that you'd like to ask specifically, you can ask the congressman directly. We do this for about, I think this one's going to last from about 7 to 8 or so. But additionally, anyone that's on this call, if you have an issue with the federal government, anything from IRS, Social Security, VA, FDA, et cetera, please go ahead and contact our office at 818-501-9200. I want to also go ahead and leave my email address. So if you have anything more specific, I'm happy to get in touch with anyone. It's Sean, SEAN, Regan, REGAN, capital C, capital A for California, at mail.house.gov. Please, I'm available day and night to anyone. And we hope to attend more and more of these neighborhood council meetings and be more visible to the community. We pride ourselves in having the best constituent services in the Valley. So we hope to work with you in that capacity and help all of the efforts that you've been doing, like I said, for the city and for the community. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. I see we have a few hands raised from the public, so I don't want to close the opportunity for them to ask you any.
Absolutely.
So let's start with Peter. You have your hand up. Do you have a question?
God, are we doing a minute 30?
You know, in the interest of time, let's try to do our comments for the government officials to 1 minute, and we'll go from there. Thank you for that, Ira. Go ahead, Peter. You have 1 minute. Peter, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hey, sorry, I was having fun and games with my mute button. I'm fine. I was actually trying to raise my hand for item 8. Thanks.
Barry, go ahead, please.
Hi, I just wish the congressman or his representative could have attended one of our meetings in the last 23 months, waiting till less than a month before his next election. Although, you know, but I will say this neighborhood and one motion, and that's on.
Barry, we're not really hearing you very well, Barry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. It's kind of cutting in and out.
Barry, you want to hang up and dial back in and?
No. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we hear you.
A lot better.
Okay. What I said was it would be nice if we have heard from the congressman or his representative in the last 23 months of his 2-year terms, as opposed to less than a month before the election. But be that as it may, we did send the congressman a motion, and it had to do with the Studio City post office, and the manager, who's no longer there, decided nearly 2 years ago to remove almost all of the neighborhood mailboxes. She did this on her own. It was only done in Studio City, and we sent a motion to the congressman and never heard one word on it. And it was totally within his jurisdiction, being federal. And as a result, you go to other Sherman Oaks and other places, their neighborhood mailboxes are still there, but ours are all gone, with very few even left.
Did you comment?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you on that, sir. We've had it.
Very brief, Sean, if you have any information on that particular issue.
Yeah, of course. We've also heard, we've also had residents in Toluca Lake that have also had concerns with their post office. It seems to be all around the district that there's something going on with the Postal Service. We've heard differing accounts of what's going on. This is something that we are paying attention to. I myself am not too familiar with what's going on in the Studio City one. I've personally been working on what's going on in the Toluca Lake one, but like I said, give our office a call. I know that John Alford, who's our policy director, would probably be more than happy to talk your ear off about what's going on with the Studio City one in particular. I wish I could speak more to that tonight, but mail will still be delivered. Regardless, we are going to work to make sure that we get those boxes back for people, and we're not going to leave people we're not going to leave the people, hanging dry, basically.
Kevin, go ahead.
Yes, and yes, I have to apologize, Mr. Reagan, for this horrendous embarrassment. How badly you've been treated tonight. See what happens with these LA people when you try to come here with an olive branch and they just take it away and gnaw at you like a bunch of piranhas. However, the question I have is that the Encino post office on White Oak, they still have not gotten those brand new ATMs. Tarzana got them, and the other one in Balboa got them. They still have not got their new ATMs. When will they get their brand new ATMs so we can use Apple Phone and pay for our postage over there?
Well, that's good to know. I was not aware of that, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm gonna, first thing when I go into the office tomorrow, I'm gonna go look into that. Like I said, give us a call or shoot me an email at sean.regan@mail.house. Sorry, sean.reganca. Always forget the CA at mail.house.gov. Happy to talk about this in more in depth, but I will look into this.
Thank you, Marcella. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Go ahead, please.
Hi there. My name is Marcella Bell, and I'm only speaking because the congressman's representative came and said that we should call his office if you have any issues involving the federal government and named Social Security. Brad Sherman's office did absolutely nothing to assist my mom with the Social Security issue. We had several email exchanges that went on for months before we were finally told that we needed to fill out a constituent assistant form or something like that, which we ended up completing and then still didn't hear anything from it. So we ended up going to Mike Garcia's office because my mom owns a property in Santa Clarita, because we were just desperate for help. And they solved that problem within 3 weeks. My mom received her assistance. My dad had passed away, and there was a mix-up with converting her benefits from a survivor benefit or spousal benefit to a widow.
That's time. Please conclude your comments.
And that's it. So I just want you to know that, it isn't necessarily the case that you provide assistance to constituents.
Well, I hear you, and I do sincerely apologize on behalf of all of our office for the fact that you did not have a good constituent experience with us. It's true that we have a tremendous success rate in helping people with services, but it's true that sometimes we do not always succeed. That's just true with any aspect of government service. It's a personal blow to me to hear that. And again, I do apologize, but we do have a great track record with the majority of the constituents in our district. I've personally helped countless people with passports and IRS cases. And again, I'm just sorry that we were not able to assist on that issue. That is a blow.
We're going to move on to the board. Adam Summer, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just find the optics of this to be quite terrible, Sean, especially for a community who has attempted such consistent outreach with Brad's office. And this is the one time that you guys show up, and not just Brad that came and talked for 5 minutes. I'm on the East Coast right now, and I'm on the call. If it meant something to him, he'd be on a call with us once in a while. I find it to be derisive. And I think it shows he's been in, I don't know, 20 years maybe. If you walk into our community and you ask anybody who Brad Sherman is, I guarantee they do not know. And he's done nothing to change that. Phone town halls when, he's supposed to spend half his year in the state of California in his community. I think everybody that follows federal politics and looks at where his money is funneled from on a campaign level, you look at, what committees he's on. He's everybody knows he's on the committee on financial affairs and kind of is the point man on that committee. And if you look at where Brad gets his money, it's from huge financial institutions. It's not from local businesses. It's not from us. And so you coming on this call, man, it's offensive. So I would rather you just not do that unless you could bring Brad on to campaign for himself, because we got families and we got people that we need to finish this meeting for. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Not seeing any other board hands raised. In the interest of time, we're going to move on to George from CD4. Please go ahead, George.
Hi, folks. Able to hear me okay?
Yes, thank you for being
Perfect. No, of course, happy to be here. Yeah, so my name is George. I'm with Councilmember Rahman in Council District 4. Happy to share this evening with you all tonight. Brandon stole some of my spotlight and sharing some of those outreach events. So, just want to, once again, if in case it was lost or you were all getting some snacks in between, we did want to also promote the Beeman Park the celebration on the Halloween festival on October 29th from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Like the Neighborhood Council for Studio City, we are not sponsoring the event, but we're always happy to, assist in any other way we can. But, just want to give that free promotion out there. Our office is also partnering with the Studio City bid and the Chamber of Commerce in order to conduct another Studio City business walk sometime around early November. And this is, again, our opportunity to be out there, meet with constituents and understand business owners in specific, what they might need and how our office can best support them, especially during these economic hardships. And so we're just, detailing out the final logistics of that. And then something else that we're very proud of is that our office was made aware of some recent issues that neighborhood councils have experienced in transmitting their community impact statements to CIS portals to the appropriate city commissioners. And because we value you all as advisory board members and, to the city council and to respective communities, our office presented a motion to instruct Dunn with the assistance of ITA to provide a report back in 45 days for necessary upgrades needed to the CIS portal to ensure submissions are streamlined as seamless as possible. So that's our way of making sure that your voices are clear and reached out to any appropriate city department that you want to voice your concerns to. I did also want to touch on the note that Brandon made about the resolution, the local emergency. As you know, today, the city council did approve a vote for a resolution to declare a local emergency, and those votes, they get, it's on a 30 calendar day basis. So as of now, I think going until November, we're making the suggestion to the mayor that we're going to be in a local emergency and to hopefully adopt it. I'm not sure how that's going to conflict with your appearance in if you decide to take like in-person meetings. But if you'd like, I can get further clarification from our legislative team and see if we can maybe even add an amendment to instruct Dunn to provide a report back as well. We're giving Dunn a lot of homework and giving a report back to see if it would be possible for returning back to in-person meetings, since I know that's how we all connect with each other on a more face-to-face level. So just say the word and we'll be happy to communicate on your behalf. Other than that, I'm happy to speak on anything else you may all be interested in learning from.
Thank you, George. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment or ask George a question? Raise your hand. If not, we'll go to the board. I'm not seeing any hands. Nope. Kevin, go ahead. Almost missed you. You have 1 minute, Kevin. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So, why did your boss backpedal? She said that she should not do business with the council until our hero Kevin De Leon resigns. But I saw her today at the meeting and she showed up and played her role to let the business of the city roll on despite calling black people apes. So I want to know, why won't you support Councilman Curran Price and Councilwoman Rodriguez and join the boycott? Why did she not join the boycott and sell out? It's a good question. Yes. Yeah. Randy wanted to ask that question, but he's too scared.
Thank you for that. Not seeing any more hands from the public. Public comment is closed. Anybody from the board have a question or comment? Randy, go ahead, please.
Hi, George. How are you? I do want to actually ask, kind of echo that question that we just heard and see if you can address that. I am curious, Council Member Krikorian, current council president, did echo today that while Councilmember Kevin Leon did apologize, that's actually not doing the right thing, and that he and Council President Krikorian insisted he should resign, as has been echoed by other members of the city council. I'm curious where Councilman Rahman is and why she, at least unless I'm mistaken, isn't as forcefully demanding the resignation of Councilmember De Leon.
Great question, Randy. Yeah, I mean, I think, well, when those leaked audios came out, Councilmember Rahman was one of the first council members to officially state and ask for their resignations, and maybe have gotten lost in everybody else coming out with the resignations, but she has asked for the resignation and was one of the first council members to ask for it, and she's still asking for it. She hasn't backpedaled on that effort. We have introduced motions coupled with Councilmember Krikorian and Price, and censoring them and removing them from all committees because we deeply understand the harm and hurt that their actions and words caused committees, and we still don't believe they're fit for for office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon.
Yeah, George, how you doing? Sorry I stole your thunder. It was not my intention. Any comments on the possibility of revisiting redistricting?
Yeah, so that has been floating around. I think it's mainly been through the city attorney and whatever he's trying to understand. But we also introduced very early during the last year an independent redistricting committee. So that won't take place. This motion that we presented won't take into effect until the next 2020 census. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. But I do think it takes a collective effort, and as much as we don't want to lose you. Revisiting it, I think it's a larger conversation that I can't make the sole decision on, but it's definitely something that we're well aware of.
Oh, I was just commenting on the possibility of an investigation into the redistricting that's been floating around, not necessarily the next 5 years.
Yeah. I don't think anything from our office. I know Attorney General Rob Bonta is making an investigation, and we're happy to comply with whatever is that his or his team request of us.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Hi, George. Another thing besides redistricting that I'd heard talked about was increasing the number of council districts, right? And I wondered if Councilmember Rahman has a position on increasing the number of districts. You have quite a large district.
Oh boy. Yeah, and we feel it too. It's funny because as soon as all these leaked audios came out and everybody started pushing for government reform, we tell people this is what we ran on. We ran on increasing the amount of city council. I know there are different numbers being proposed, and for us, we want to take a more logical approach and understanding how those numbers should be added in terms of council members. So, some people said that when the original council members were brought up, each council member had 1.9 million, and if we were to take into account the 4 million that we have today in City of Los Angeles, it would be 30 million. I mean, 30 council members. 30 council members representing 1.9 million people. But again, we're more focused on the right approach, on understanding how the power and representation can be evenly split up with each individual council members and ensure that we have an accurate number to reflect those decisions. So, but we did introduce a motion to increase the number of council members in LA.
Was it to a certain number, or was it just generally expanded?
Yeah, it was mainly for a report back and understanding how many seats to expand it, because we don't want to give an arbitrary number.
That will be discussed at our Government Affairs Committee meeting. There'll be a discussion and possible motion coming up on that particular issue. Any other board members? Thank you, George, for your presentation. Thank you for your patience.
Of course. And to think I was going to be let off scot-free. I've been waiting to say that. All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.
And we now have Erin. Go ahead, please. Thank you for your patience and waiting.
No worries. You guys are my third meeting of tonight, so I'm just marathoning it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. For those that don't know, I'm Erin Seinfeld. I'm the Mayor's West Valley area rep, and you may not have seen me because I just got back from maternity leave. So just got back a couple weeks ago, but so it's nice to see all of you. Just some quick updates. I always try and touch on stuff that will really be impactful to you all. Tomorrow, October 20th, is International Shakeout Day, when millions of people worldwide will participate in earthquake drills at work, school, and home. And it's a great day to raise awareness of earthquake and disaster preparedness. If you visit readyla.org, there are informational toolkits by the City of Los Angeles Emergency Management Department with guides on making an emergency plan or building a disaster kit. It's a really helpful site with a lot of tools to kind of bring your neighborhood together and organize for to increase our collective readiness in times of disaster. Some LADWP things that I thought you might be interested in. The turf replacement rebate increased from $3 to $5 per square foot. So it's easier than ever to convert your lawn with sustainable landscaping. You can go to ladwp.com/landscaping to learn on how to apply for the landscaping rebates. And that's for residential, commercial, or multifamily units, as well as for parkways. You can also add to your garden today, and you can reach out to me or the council office to organize a tree adoption event. November and fall is a great time to establish new trees because it's much cooler and more humid. And then the last LADW thing that I thought you would be interested in is that the city partnered with a company called Flume, which attaches to your water meter, and through a companion app on your phone, it gives you detailed data on your water usage. So like how long your water is running, whether it's inside or outside, if there's a leak anywhere. So if you're not home and water's still going, that obviously there could be an issue. It normally costs $199, and LADWP is giving a special offer to City of LA homeowners for it only costs $24. So that's flumewater.com. It's spelled Flume. Lastly, I don't know if everyone's aware, and my dog is having a little bit of a fit. I'm sorry. After nearly 5 years, the Section 8 voucher waiting list lottery opened on Monday, October 17th, and it's open until the 30th. The Section 8 program is a rental assistance program that helps very low income families afford decent, safe, and sanitary housing. You can get more information at HACLA, HACLA.hcvlist.org. Also, the LA Public Library is helping set up email accounts and offering internet access to help. If you have any other questions on those things, you can reach out to me. I just wanted to make sure to give some useful tools to you all. This may be the last time I see you before the end of the administration, but if you need anything, we're still chugging away and will be until the very last day of the administration, as is the mayor. And I'm always here to help. I know you guys have really great council offices, but I'm always a resource as well. And you can reach me at aaron.seinfeld@lacity.org.
Great, thank you for that. Are you able to hang out for a couple minutes for a few questions?
Yes, a couple minutes. My husband's been on baby duty all night, but I'm happy to stay for a couple.
Okay, Kevin, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yes, and as you probably know, we are all counting the days to be free of Eric Luis Garcetti. Yes, the end is finally near, isn't it? So we want to know what you're going to do in terms of trying to get Mr. Cedillo and Mr. De Leon off the council. What I suggested today was that all of the commissioners on all the city commissions should walk out, resign, and not hold a quorum until the resignations come. Will you join Goat Puppet and urge this from all of your commissioners as a further way, being led by Monica Rodriguez and Karen Price, who are trying to do this?
Thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to anyone from the board. If you have a quick comment for Erin, she needs to go, but if you have anything to say, go ahead, Brandon.
Congratulations on the baby. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. I wish she was in a cuter mood and I could show you her, your fellow new constituent. But it's nice to see everyone, and please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's anything that you want to invite the mayor to before he leaves, everything, don't hesitate. I'm here, and I hope everyone has a lovely evening.
Thank you very much. I'm looking in the attendee list. Are there any more government representatives that we may have missed? No, not Kevin. I think we got everybody. Okay.
Did Lorenzo
Oh,
want to speak?
was where's his hands not up?
Yeah, I'm here, Scott. I actually emailed my announcements to the board, so in the interest of time, I don't want to repeat everything, but I would ask if Adele and I'm sorry, Fiona, if you guys would please send me an email so that I can have your email on file so that I can know where to send the email for trainings to access to Cornerstone. And my email address is Lorenzo, Lorenzo .Briceño, B as in boy, RICENO @lacity.org. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Lorenzo. Fiona, I'll send you an email on how to get a Studio City Neighborhood Council email address. I'll send that to you tomorrow, and then you can correspond from that address. Okay. Item 7 is now closed. On to item 8. We'll take public comment on non-agenda items within the Neighborhood Council's jurisdiction. 1 minute, 30 seconds per speaker. Kevin, go ahead, please.
Yes. Former goat herder Paul Martin Krikorian has apparently taken over our presidency. Yes, but we looked at the state bar website today, and did you know that Paul Martin Krikorian is a lawyer, but with a suspended sentence? He is ineligible to practice law in the state of California. But why? Chip wants to know why. Scott wants to know why. Well, because he wouldn't comply with his ethical requirements to pay his fees and take his continuing education. He said, fuck the fucking bar. I don't want to pay anything, and I don't want to take the classes. Fuck them. I'm not with the blacks. And you guys put him in as president? Well, if he has that kind of disregard for ethical duties, then how can he be your president? What would happen if Brandon were to act like that and not take his courses? Or what would happen if Scott or Chip or Jeff were to act like that and not take their courses? They'd be suspended from their board duties. Yes. So why didn't Paul take care of his ethical responsibilities? Could it be that
And that's time. Please conclude your comments.
I think there's a loophole at the bar where wealthy people that are in politics are abusing that privilege.
Peter, go ahead, please.
Hi there. Hard to squeeze into a minute and a half. Anyway, with the opening of Equinox at Sportsman's, I'm now seeing unfamiliar cars parking in my neighborhood on Alcove north of the mall. Today I had a conversation with a woman who parked in front of my house. She went shopping at some fancy store over there whose name, I don't know, is too rich for my tongue to pronounce, but she told me she couldn't find a parking spot over there and was directed into a tandem spot that was too tight for her liking. So instead, she elected to park in front of my house and walk from Alcove to go shopping. This is not the first time I've seen this since the gym has opened. Also saw someone who lives on Woodbridge commented on Nextdoor that Equinox customers are taking up their parking too. And this actually ties into the Harvard Westlake project. Krikorian put out his Harvard Westlake wish list that a ramp be built on the north side of the river at Coldwater in what he called a, quote, public benefit. The benefit is really for Midwood, as their customers will have easy access now to Alcove and adjacent streets as their parking overflow, as an overflow parking lot. A petition with hundreds of signatures was presented to you guys and city planning against this ramp. We just don't want this ramp. It's primarily a safety issue for us, but now that it's obvious that Midwood does not have enough parking, Alcove and adjacent will become free parking.
And that's time. Please conclude your comment.
Janine?
Hi, everyone. I'm actually speaking a little bit on the same subject as Peter. I too live in the neighborhood just north of Sportsman's Landing. And this parking lot has become a dangerous situation. Some was abated with the ticket kiosk being placed further in, although it does make it very confusing because you can park before the kiosk, but to get out, you have to go all the way through the kiosk and have the tandem parkers frantically waving you to try to park, even though you've already done your shopping. But the trucks are still illegally parking. The delivery trucks to the market are illegally parking on Coldwater Canyon, which is I turn right to go to my neighborhood. I can't see past those trucks. It's a really dangerous situation. And between the chaotic parking already and the fact that a lot of these stores aren't even open yet, and Equinox has just opened, it really has kind of become the nightmare that the citizens who were concerned about this spoke of. I have written Midwood, but I really felt that I wanted to express that to you guys as well. There's another concerning thing, which is that I have heard, I don't know 100% it's true, but that the Equinox employees are parking in the lot. And as we were discussing the parking situation when this project was being planned.
And that's time. Please conclude your comment.
Almost done. It was understood that the employees would be parking in the municipal lot and then bused to Sportsman's Landing. So that seems.
Thank you, Janine. Anyone else from the public wish to make a comment? Patrice, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. In the interest of time, everything that Peter and Janine had to say is absolutely true, and I won't go down that road. But one thing I wanted to bring up is that since the parking lot's full, there's people running back and forth across Coldwater with that traffic, and it's really dangerous. There's been so many accidents too, just trying to get in the lot. But I'm talking about just since they're now parking across Coldwater on the west side, somebody's going to be seriously injured. And I'm hoping that you guys take a good look at what's going on over there. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Not seeing any more hands from the public on non-agenda items. Chip, I see your hand is up, but remember on a non-agenda item, just a very brief clarification. We can't get into it. But item 10 addresses a portion of what they were just talking about. So did you have something to say, Chip?
Yeah, quick question. It really goes back to Janine. I saw a bus with a gentleman wearing a Sportsman's Lodge uniform. It was a small bus in front of the municipal parking lot yesterday or the day before on Ventura. Was that intended to be an employee shuttle?
So we're not going to get into a back and forth.
Okay, I'll come back to it.
Because that'll be an agenda item for the future about
Got it.
parking. We're going to talk about the trucks blocking Coldwater Canyon coming up soon.
But the answer is yes to Chip's question.
Thank you. Very good. So public comment on the non-agenda items is over. We're going to go to item 9, Land Use Committee. And the applicant will be here to answer any questions. So I'm going to read you the motion as it was passed in the Land Use Committee. The Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council opposes, unless the condition below is met, the proposed project, John and Vinnie's Studio City, project address 11334 West Moore Park Street, 91602, case number ZA 20225398, CUB, a conditional use permit to allow for the sale and dispensation of a full line of alcoholic beverages for on-site and off-site consumption in conjunction with a 3,364 square foot restaurant with indoor seating for 94 patrons and a 258 square foot outdoor patio on the public right of way with seating for 27 patrons in the QC2-1 KC-Rio with hours of operation from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight daily, with alcohol sales from 11 a.m. to midnight daily. New construction, 996 square feet, storage mezzanine with the following conditions. Sunday to Thursday will close at 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday will close at 11 p.m. And there's some links. And now I'm going to share my screen. If you can turn that off, and I'm going to propose an amendment. So I'm going to turn off my camera so you don't see the back of my head. I'm moving to a different computer, and I will share. So what you will see is my proposed amendment, which I will read and I will explain. It is the motion that was just presented. The yellow are the additions, which clarifies the most recent application. There's strikeout in there that is part of the amendment and part of house cleaning. When I received the paper application, I scanned it because it contained a lot more information than there was online. And in the scan, it added the line construction, it added the alcohol sales from 11 a.m. to midnight daily, which was part of the previous permit, which was captured in the scan, and that is not part of this. And then you will see the yellow, which is the additional or changed wording, and the additional amendment to go from Sunday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to midnight. So I will read you the changes. So SQ is now square. One fixed bar is added. The zone was changed from KC to XL. The word zone is added. And new 996 square foot ground floor addition with a new raised roof with 385 square foot storage and office mezzanine. Hours of operation is Sunday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. I'm going to leave that up for a minute, and I'll need a second. If anyone.
Second.
Thank you. We will now go to public comment regarding the amendment, and then back to the board to discuss the amendment. So if anyone from the public has a comment on this particular amendment that is on the floor at the moment, please raise your hand.
1 second. Who seconded? I didn't.
Jeff.
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Scott.
Thanks. Jesse, go ahead, please. Jesse, are you able to unmute?
Here we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I'm a longtime resident in the area, very close to the proposed John and Vinny's location. I've been a longtime fan of the restaurant group, and what I can tell you is this: anytime a John and Vinny's opens up in a new location, they raise the value of the surrounding businesses and overall neighborhood. They turned Fairfax into a culinary hotspot. Brentwood's restaurant scene was also reinvigorated. They are trailblazers, in my opinion. If you care about the value of your neighborhood, as I do, your home and local businesses, especially as we face a recession, then we should embrace everything and anything that John and Vinny's wants to do. And I wouldn't want to limit their business in any way, including alcohol consumption. So if you're not going to do it for me or for your own home, then just at least try to do it for their spicy fusilli. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin, go ahead, please.
Yes. Yes, I think that your proposed restrictions are a little harsh. And again, the need for people to get fucked up is now more important than ever. Yes, a couple of drinks takes the edge off. There's nothing wrong with an occasional drink. And Thursdays, Sunday, 11 p.m., most of my friends, the humans I know, They don't really start getting their buzz on till around 1 a.m. Yes, I think 11's a little too close. Go puppet moves Sunday through Thursday till midnight, Friday and Saturday to 1 a.m. That's the way the West Valley and Blee will do things. Because you don't get your buzz on till at least after 1 a.m.
Okay.
These restrictions are going to be bad for business. How the fuck are they going to pay the wages that you guys want without selling alcohol to all of our friends who get drunk? Oh, what about DUI? Fuck DUI. I don't care. What I care about is making money. And John and Vinny's employs people and makes money and raises property values around there. Yes, we like that. And Kevin De Leon also likes that. And that's why he's still on the council.
And that's time. Please conclude your comments.
Yes. So join us in a drink and make the hours the way they should be. Later.
Rachel, go ahead, please.
Hi there, my name is Rachel Steinman and I live in Studio City. I have taught at Oakwood, I'm a parent, and I am very supportive of John and Vinny. I would love to have it in the neighborhood. I have teenage daughters that love going to the other locations. I think it will be excellent for our neighborhood, and I really hope that it's able to move forward.
Thank you. Mike, go ahead, please. Mike? Mike Thaxton, unmute yourself and go ahead with your comment. We'll come back to you in a second. Lee Young, go ahead, please.
Yes, hi. I too live in the neighborhood. I'm about 3 blocks away from where John and Vinny's would be. And I'm very, very excited that they're coming in where they're planning to go. And I just think that, you know, everything that Rachel and Jesse said, I agree with. I know I'm not the only one. There's several people in my neighborhood that feel the same way. And lived here long enough that I remember in 2011, we were supposed to get Little Dom's in what used to be the old play clothes building there on Tahunga, opposite side Tahunga and Moore Park. And the neighborhood on that side complained. And I guess the Studio City Council at that time voted 6-5 in not in favor of them going there because of parking issues. And instead we got a pot shop. So I'm really hoping that they are approved and they get everything they want because it would be amazing for our neighborhood. So I hope you consider it. Thank you.
Thanks. Marcella, go ahead, please.
Hi there. Hi again. My name is Marcella Bell. In the interest of time, I echo all of the comments that were previously stated. I couldn't be more excited. It's a great location. It's a great restaurant. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's such a sad corner right now, and it's actually been a sad corner with every restaurant before, I mean, that came after the barbecue place that was there many, many, many moons ago. And I know that John and Vinny will be here to stay. So I'm very excited about it. Hope it passes. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing. Shahrukh, go ahead.
Honestly, absolutely great restaurant. Would be an absolute fire for the city. It's very excited for them. It is an unbelievable opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Barry, go ahead, please.
Hi, this location started out in the 60s, part of the building before it was enlarged as a Dairy Queen that had 5-cent ice cream cones, just for everyone's historical background.
Thank you, Barry. Anne, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ann Boland. I live a few blocks away from the restaurant location. I've been anxiously awaiting its opening since I first learned of the transaction. The neighborhood will benefit from a conscientious, successful restaurant operator. I'm excited at the prospect of a business that will be a long-standing member of our community. They've shown this commitment in other parts of Los Angeles. The location remaining empty is detrimental to our neighborhood. I'm very excited about having them and very supportive. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak on the amendment to the motion at hand, raise your hand. Not seeing any more hands. I think we could still leave this up on the screen so it's really clear what it is we're doing. Richard, you have a comment?
Yeah, purely just a technical thing. No matter what they typed into the application, the zip code should still be 91604. That's all.
Thank you, Richard. Randy?
Hi, thanks, Scott. First, I guess just speaking specifically to the amendment, number one, and perhaps you know better than I, but I believe with the CUP as it relates to a liquor license, the CUP must be specific as to the times for alcohol sales. So I'm not sure that we can cross that out, number one. Maybe it doesn't matter. Number two, I'm wondering what the rationale is of not allowing them alcohol sales to midnight. Just to be clear, a liquor license allowing midnight sales to sales to midnight really allows patrons to come in later and leave. So if you have a liquor license, for example, that says that goes to 11, which I guess is theoretically you're proposing that you struck that language, it means that those glasses, everything have to be struck off the table by 11. So what you're effectively saying is if someone comes in late at 10:30, if they're still eating, though the kitchen closes as an example, you'd have to strike their beverages because that's when the liquor license, that's what the CUP on the liquor license is saying. So if you could explain, so if you can address those two things, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you, Randy. You're absolutely right. And I did make those points at the land use committee. And I was outvoted at the time, and they wanted the conditions of closing at 10. So as a compromise, I made the amendment till 11. I'd be happy to change it back to 12 if we have support for that. Regarding the other items, this was just housekeeping issues taken exactly from the application as it was. It's changed a couple times. And of course, as we all know, the paper applications that come to the office are often different than the application that's at the website, and then they disappear and then they pop up again and things change. And that was all housekeeping. I agree with the spirit of the operating hours that I support till midnight. If there's board support for that, happy to entertain.
So then can I make a motion, I guess, a motion to amend your amendment?
I'll second it. Oh, say what your motion is to amend it.
Well, one is again, I'm only, and maybe it's different. I don't think so, but just knowing when I went through my own CUP process with the city of Burbank for my liquor license, the CUP had to define the hours for alcohol sales. So I guess my friendly amendment would be to restore the language that says with alcohol sales from 11 a.m. To midnight daily, and then restore the request for the hours originally requested. Just to be clear, I'll just add very quickly, John Shook and Vinny DiTolo, for those who don't know, they own Joint Venture Restaurant Group, which arguably owns some of the top performing, if not the top performing restaurants across the city. It includes Animal, Son of a Gun, the John and Vinny's that exists at Highland. They're building one currently in Beverly Hills. Helen's Wines. They have an incredible catering company, which I've used before, Caramelized Productions. And they also are partnered in Chwamek, Petit Chwa Highland, Petit Chwa in Sherman Oaks. This would bring also some great jobs. I mean, in the era of with a recession on the horizon, I think having one of the best restaurant groups and very communally minded restaurant groups coming to our neighborhood, bringing more jobs. I think it's only a win for us, and we should, I mean, unless someone can come up with specific reasons why we shouldn't accept this friendly amendment or this amendment we can only vote on, I don't see why we would not support this business 100%. Thank you.
Just a question, Randy, did you say the alcohol sales would be the same as the hours of operation, 8 a.m. to midnight?
Yeah, as my understanding is you just have to delineate the times for alcohol sales, because obviously, right, a business could theoretically stay open past the sale of alcohol.
Okay, so I'll second it, and just I want to make sure everybody understands what's going on here. The amendment to the amendment has a different color highlighter on it. And then this is a strikeout. Just bear with me 1 second, folks. Format, text. Strike through. So it'll be supporting instead of opposing with conditions. And the conditions is struck, and the alcohol sales now match the hours of operation. So the way this works now is we're commenting on the amendment to the amendment, which has been seconded by me. And if I'm not mistaken, we now go to public comment on
Before you go to public comment,
yeah,
the last 4 words still state with the following conditions. I think you forgot to strike those.
Also, I think it's worth noting that the liquor license in question is a beer and wine license. This is, they are not the unless I'm mistaken, but the applicant is not going for a full.
No, it's full.
Oh, it is a full line. Okay, apologies.
Thank you, Ira. Let me just strike that out. Format, text, strike through. How's that look? Public comment on the amendment to the amendment. Attendees, Kevin. Go ahead, please.
Yes. No, it looks so much more prettier, doesn't it? Yes, and that's right. I mean, but I'm still having a little bit of a problem though with the cutoff. I mean, if you're going to give a full line of alcohol, well, those kind of drinkers, better tippers, they usually, they don't start really getting their buzz on until around close to midnight, and well, you're going to be closing at midnight. Don't you want to be open till 1 a.m. and get them their additional drinks before they leave and get into their cars? It's the least you could do in this upcoming recession. Many people are going to be spending the last of their rubles on liquor. Rubles? Yes, that's what the dollar's going to be worth when Joe Biden gets done before he leaves office. We're going to be trading in rubles. The dollar's going to be going away. So yes, I support it. Everybody, let's have a drink. I have a drink in my hand right now. A little Cointreau. Here's to alcoholism. One of the best sports in LA. Here, here.
Mike, go ahead, please.
Is that Mike Thaxton?
Mike Thaxton.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Fantastic. My name is Mike Thaxton. I own the building right next door to the proposed John and Vinny's location. I've been there for 15 plus years. I've remodeled the building, as some of you may have known, in the last 5 years. Used to be an old Tudor building, but this neighborhood really needs a a stable restaurant, and that corner has been problematic, as most of you know. And we fully support John and Vinny and the opening of this restaurant. We were actually providing them with parking as well, with our parking spots at our building, which there's going to be about 10 parking spots. So that'll alleviate some of the parking issues. We have also going to be putting in with the city to allow for parking to be in front of my building at night, so that there's additional parking in support of the restaurant to alleviate parking in front of the neighbors in the local surrounding areas. I agree with the other gentleman that this will increase the values of not only businesses but homes surrounding the area, and this is a much needed restaurant for stability in the neighborhood. I'm in full support, 100%. Thank you.
Marcella, go ahead, please.
Hi, Marcella Bell here again. As you already know, I support the restaurant, but I do have a comment on your amendment. So on line 4, you changed the abbreviation of square foot to square foot, and you have a period between the foot and the restaurant. But then in line 5, you left square foot abbreviated. So I would suggest that you have it be consistent on both lines.
Thank you. And Alexandra.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Alexandra Hager. I'm a resident of Studio City. My husband and I could not be more excited that John and Vinny has selected our city for their newest location. We're 100% in support. This is a leading hospitality group. They care about community, they care about family, they care about good food and great times. So we're fully in support.
Thank you for that. We will now go to board comment. And then we have the applicants on hand if we need them to answer any questions. I actually do have a sort of a question that I'll ask out loud before we go ahead. If the hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 12 and there's people in the restaurant after 12, that would mean there's no alcohol sales anymore in the restaurant, even though there's people still in there finishing. Now that was not in the application. That actually came from another document when I did the scan. We can ask the applicant about that after we do the board comments and questions. Ira, go ahead.
Thank you. So in the committee meeting, the land use committee meeting, was there any public dissent? I'm not asking about committee dissent. Was there any public dissent?
Yes.
How many, what were they neighbors? What was the gist of the public dissent?
Two people were opposed.
Reasons?
Noise, problems, parking, and the issues were fairly well explained by the applicant. One being permit parking is on the street of the complainants, and they can't park there at night, and about noise. And the applicant explained, if I'm remembering correctly, that they don't put the bottles in the trash at night. They're actually taken by employees for recycling, and with the additional parking next door.
So would you say it was an overwhelmingly positive response from the community, or an overwhelmingly negative response?
The negative response was primarily from the committee.
Okay. Thank you.
Adele, go ahead, please.
Sorry, actually, that's not how I recall. What I recall is that the committee was responding to there were only really 2 people, and one person lives right next to the restaurant, and the committee was responding to fear of the restaurant being loud. And the woman who abuts her house abuts the restaurant, and also the expansion is quite significant. I mean, it's almost 1,000 square feet, and they go from having sort of a double lane parking lot to having 4 parking spaces. It's good to hear from the neighbor that they're going to provide parking spaces, because that was a great concern. Because if you have 4 parking spaces for a restaurant that seats 300 people, that's, that means all that parking is going to go into the neighborhood. I think that, the real concern was having it be open super late, and that disturbing the neighborhood, because the neighborhood kind of shuts down at 10. But I understand that a CUP allows a restaurant to stay open till midnight or till 11, and then the restaurant only does it if they have the clientele, but it wasn't really I didn't feel that it was the committee being negative. I felt it was the committee responding, because we only had 2 people talking from the public, and the Scott and the applicant had papered the neighborhood with flyers, and those people showed up, and now a lot more people have shown up in support of the restaurant. I think it's a great restaurant. I'm not against it in any way. I'm totally for it. I just thought, and you guys are saying that's what we want, to have a restaurant that it can be open till midnight in Studio City. Point in fact, Aroma closes at 9, and I'm pretty sure that what's the other one? Oh my God.
Vitello's.
Yeah, closes at 10. And I'm pretty sure that John and Vinny's will end up closing at 10, because they won't have the traffic. But maybe they will. Maybe they will. It is going to be a bigger footprint, but I think it's going to really revitalize that corner. So I'm definitely for it. I think the real caveat is to ask John to be mindful of who the neighbors are, and really be mindful of this studio, the people who live around them. And I think he will be. So, but I think that's important. I don't know if you can put that somehow in there, but that's what I think that was what the objections were.
So John, the applicants on the call right now, John and Brianne, you can unmute yourself and answer that question, and any others that seem to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, so to start with, the neighbor that's directly next to us currently, there's a chain link fence with some vines growing, have actually overgrown from her property onto ours, which we plan on putting in a solid wall to help with the divide between our property and their property. Like we said as well on the land use meeting, a lot of the reason we're asking for the time is exactly what Randy went over. If you sit down at 9:55, and we're serving food and your cutoff on your CUP is 10 p.m., then you can't order a beer or a glass of wine or a drink because you have to abide by the conditional use permit. Our plan is to be open from 8 to 10 p.m. When we say we're open to 10 p.m., it means that we serve the full menu till 10 p.m. During the cleanup process, like I was explaining on the last call, Adele, we want to be able to still allow people to potentially have a drink or, during their dessert or when they're hanging out. We are a 70% sale to alcohol in all of our establishments, some even more so food to alcohol. So we're not a bar. We're not looking to be a guy at the door carting people to come in and get crazy. We're a family-friendly restaurant. This particular location had an alcohol license prior to us. The previous operator, basically in lack of care of operations, let the CUP basically expire. And he also let his alcohol permit expire and his health department permit expire. So we're trying to clean up the worms. We are using the current redevelopment rules that are been placed out by LA County City with what is allowed to be built on the property based on parking and what is currently allowed with bicycle parking and permit parking and ADA requirements, which we're all abide by. And we look forward to becoming part of the neighborhood. Every neighborhood's a little bit different. Like you were saying, Adele, if the demand's not there to be open, past, we don't plan to be open past 10 o'clock, but if people are stopped coming in at 9:30, by 10:15, we're going to be walking out the door. But if people are coming in at 10 o'clock, we want to be able to give them the full experience. And that's why we have asked for, the CUP to be good until midnight.
Adam Summer, you had a question or comment?
No, I'm all right. It's fine. I think this falls in line with what a lot of us are getting at, as we have spent more years in neighborhood council, and if we live in the second biggest municipality in the country, and we live in the nexus point of that community, we have to start accepting responsibility for the contingencies of that choice. Like, you're gonna have restaurants, and we need restaurants. We cannot be forgotten as other, sections of this city, make strong choices to move forward with, growing, developing businesses and bringing in, younger demographics, people who are going to have money for the next, 20, 30 years, not going into the retirement. So, I think this is a boon to our community. I think it is also, it buoys us to hear the voices of younger constituents and stakeholders, and older ones too, who just want to, who want to stay afoot. And so I appreciate a lot of the voices I heard tonight, because we don't often hear them. We hear a lot about parking, we hear a lot about closing times, but like, it gets to be ridiculous if we can't stay open till 12 on a Saturday night, to bring in people to see parts of our city that, they might not often come to Studio City, because we don't have the nightclubs and we don't have the restaurants. So it's an encouragement, and it certainly bolsters certain specific areas when we bring in businesses with an established reputation and credibility like this. So thank you. And thank you for bringing the business in. I appreciate it too, myself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Randy, and then Jeff, and then we can vote on the amendment, and then I'll read the whole motion after that.
Great, thanks, Scott. I'll be really quick. Number one, just a concern that Adele had mentioned about the surrounding community. If you go to their Fairfax location, so the backside is parking alley, and then a wall, and then all dense residential. And just knowing people anecdotally that live in that area, everyone raves about John and Vinny and how they are they're good neighbors. They're incredible business people who operate incredible restaurants, wildly popular, but at the end of the day are also just good people and good neighbors. And so I for one am very confident, just knowing of them, that our neighbors will be, any concerns that arise, they'll take seriously, which just goes to my quick second point. We have had many restaurants come before us and through their process, and usually there's an expediter here, but rarely do we get the restaurant tour here, let alone a restaurateur who is the head of a rather large hospitality business with multiple restaurants under their belt. And so I just think that also says a lot about their commitment to our community, by the fact that John has invested his time to come here this evening to answer our questions and concerns. So thank you, John. Very excited for your restaurant coming into our community.
Thank you. We take all of our projects very seriously. It's a very large investment that we're going to be making into this neighborhood, and we want to see it succeed. We want to create jobs. I said on the last call, both me and Vinny both have 2 kids each separately that are at Oakwood. Our goal is to get it open before Sonny, who's Vinny's oldest son, graduates from elementary school. We've been working on this already for close to a year. It's been a long, tedious process going through the building department. We're at the kind of final stages with the building department, and if we know that we have the neighborhood council behind our side, it will, I think, accelerate us into starting some of the construction pre us actually getting our final CUP.
Jeff, go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. I did watched the land use committee meeting. I think the work product from that committee was overly restrictive. And I'm glad that Scott and Randy proposed these new amendments. I think they're logical and rational and reasonable. I enjoyed John's presentation at the land use committee meeting. I'm comfortable with what he said. And after reviewing the plans, I think this is a good project. My daughter recently had her birthday party with some friends at the Fairfax location. She had a wonderful time. So I think this is going to be a very good addition to the community, and look forward to hopefully you being part of it. Thank you.
And Dean, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone something that wasn't brought up, but to John and Vinny's commitment in the community, they are more than just tenants. They actually are invested for the long term here because they actually own the property. So I think that goes a long ways to showing what kind of respect and what their commitment is, and how they're going to be sensitive, and how deep their foundation is on that corner. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Not seeing any more hands. We can, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to vote on the amendment. And if it passes, then I'll read the entire motion as amended, go back to public comment if there is any, and then back to the board for a vote on the full motion. So if you can call the vote for the amendment, and all these colors can probably still stay up for now because there's been some changes.
Okay.
Are you speaking?
Yes, so we are voting on item 9.8, amendment brought by Randall Free, second by Scott Mandel. Kim Clements.
Yes.
Dean Cutler.
Yes.
Randall Free.
Yes.
Ira Gold.
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick.
Yes.
Julie Houlihan.
Yes.
Scott Mandel.
Yes.
Chip Meehan.
Yes.
Brandon Marino.
Yes.
Richard Niederberg.
Yes.
Karen Soar is absent. Alexa Steinberg absent. Adam Summer.
Yes.
Avi Velasco. Yes. 1 second, because I have them in pieces. Adele Slutter
Yes.
and Fiona Duffy.
Yes.
Okay, motion amendment passes. So should we stop?
Thank you. Now I guess I'm going to read the whole thing, and we'll go to public comment if any. And
Scott, point of order.
Yes,
Does
sure, go ahead.
Fiona get a vote on this?
Yeah, she can vote. We'd like to hear her opinion. It's an advisory vote.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So here is the amended motion, and you can read along with me. The board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council supports the proposed project, John and Vinny Studio City. Project address 11334 West Moore Park Street, 91602. By the way, someone told me that it really is 91602. I don't know if that's true or not. Case number ZA-2022 5398-CUB, a conditional use permit to allow for the sale and dispensation of a full line of alcoholic beverages for on-site and off-site consumption in conjunction with a 3,364 square foot restaurant with indoor seating for 94 patrons, 1 fixed bar, and a 258 square foot outdoor patio in the public right of way, with seating for 27 patrons in the QC2-1 XL Rio zone, with hours of operation from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight daily, alcohol sales from 8 a.m. to midnight daily. It should be 8 a.m. till 12 midnight daily. Sorry, that's a typo. New 996 square foot ground floor addition with a new raised roof with 385 square foot storage and office mezzanine. And that is the amended motion. If anyone from the public wants to comment on the full motion now that I've just read, raise your hand. Kevin, go ahead.
Do we need to second that motion?
Oh, yes. I'll second it.
Scott, do we need to second the motion?
That's a good one. Sure.
I'll second.
Ow! my nose.
Who's seconded?
It was
Dean.
seconded by Dean. Go ahead, Kevin.
It can't be seconded by an animal. Ow! Ew, my nose. All right, ew. Go ahead. Ew. Yeah, so a much better motion, yeah. It makes more sense. As we know that they want to close at midnight, because after midnight, you have to pick up the trash and you have to escort the drunk people out into the street and encourage them not to drive home, but to take a taxi or an Uber. Yes, Goat Puppet recommends that you put up signs there to say, we advise you not to drink and drive. Yes, and also we have even better news. What's that? My good friend Kevin De Leon has told everybody he's not going to step down. So let's celebrate and have a drink to that as well. So to John and Vinny and to Kevin De Leon, may everybody get fucked up tonight and have a pleasant evening. Hear, hear. Yes. I know you'd be happy with that announcement. I just wanted to share the good news with you about Mr. De Leon.
Thank you. Not seeing any more hands from the public. We're going to go back to the board. Brandon, you have your hand up.
Yeah, it's a question for John. You guys are consummate professionals. I mean, everything Randy said, I mean, seconded here. It's I'm looking forward to it. But the parking in the residential area is district number 81 permit from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. But there's no parking from 9 p.m. until 8 a.m. unless I guess you have a permit. Is that going to be clear on the website to anybody who wishes to visit John and Vinny's Studio City? Is it going to be defined where you can park and where you cannot park? Because that street does get a little dark and there's a lot of foliage and sometimes the signs aren't obvious. Are there going to be is there going to be an assistance on the website so people can navigate where to park without getting tickets? Thank you.
That's a great question. And what we will do within the first week or two is monitor what's happening and then curve to whatever's needed. If it means that we need to have somebody that's an attendant out there to help park additional cars, we will. If we need to reach out to the church, which is across the street from Oakwood, which I know Oakwood uses constantly for additional parking, we will reach out to them to try to work out more of a parking agreement. During the day, there's a fair amount of parking because the neighborhood allows you to park in that area, as well as the road that's parallel with the actual playground. That road is allowed parking all day. So we went over this in the land use meeting until we really know the flow of the cars and traffic. And then we'll make sure to try to, please the neighbors and as well please the customers, because the last thing you want is a customer coming in and then leaving and getting a ticket. And that was one of the things when we were looking at the building, we reached out to the neighbor with Mike Thaxton, knowing that he's in an office building and at nighttime when the predominant, when I would say most of our restaurants are at its prime, to see if we could use his parking, which he did. And I know that there was some concern in the land use meeting, and we had reached out to him and asked him to join today's call, which he did. So it is something that we will curve to what's needed. Currently, all John and Vinny share one mother homepage, and then it comes down to each location with little tidbits or information about it. So as we understand the neighborhood, the flow of traffic, the flow of customers, we will, do what's necessary to try to keep everybody happy.
Thank you. Anyone else from the board before we vote? I'm not seeing any. I'm going to unshare the screen. Well, actually, I'll leave it on and read. Do I need to read it again? I don't think so. Let's have a vote, Abby.
Abby, you're muted.
Muted.
And we're voting on item 9.8. Kim Clements.
Yes. Dick Cutler,
Yes.
Randa Freed,
Yes.
Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mandel,
Yes.
Chick Meehan. Are you still here?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. I lost my, okay. Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Yes.
Karen Soros absent, Adam Summer,
Yes.
Alexa Steinberg is absent, Avi Velasco, yes, Adele Slutter,
Yes.
Fiona Duffy.
Yes.
Motion passes. Congratulations, John and Vinny.
Thank you, y'all. We look forward to coming into the neighborhood.
Welcome.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10. I will read the motion. The Board of the City of City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, supports the efforts of Councilmember Nithya Raman to address the unsafe conditions on Coldwater Canyon Avenue between Ventura Boulevard and the Los Angeles River caused by delivery trucks continually parking and unloading in the tow away, no stopping anytime travel lane immediately adjacent to the curb. Despite countless complaints from the public and from the SCNC board and committee members made to Midwood Investment and Development, including photographic and video documentation, the issue continues unabated. This will only get worse if the adjacent property gets an exception to the Ventura Cahuenga specific plan to build 500 plus apartments along with additional retail, which will be utilizing the entrance just a few feet from where delivery trucks are blocking the travel lane. This portion of Coldwater Canyon Avenue is also the proposed truck haul route for the massive excavation relating to the proposed residences at Sportsman's and for the proposed Harvard Westlake River Park project. Motion brought by me, Scott Mandel. I would need a second.
I'll do it. Chip.
Thank you, Chip. It's pretty self-explanatory, and this was touched upon briefly by public comment earlier in the meeting. So we will now go to public comment on the motion I just read. Heidi, go ahead, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on, Heidi, 1 second. Midwood was invited to the meeting and they could not attend, and they sent a written statement, and I'm going to share that. Hang on 1 second, please. Sorry. Share screen. The Shops at Sportsman's Lodge is working with CD4 staff, the Department of Transportation, LAPD, and our tenants to address the issue of delivery trucks stopping and parking in the no parking area on Coldwater Canyon Avenue between Ventura Boulevard and Los Angeles River. We take issue with the quote countless complaints to Midwood language and relation to the proposed mixed use project, but otherwise support this motion. We value the ongoing input from and dialogue with Studio City, SCNC board, and Public Safety Committee members. The Shops at Sportsman's Lodge will continue to focus on this issue until it's resolved. I'm going to unshare. That is from Ben Besley at Midwood, and I'm not going to comment on that. I will go to public comment first. Heidi, go ahead now, please. Heidi, unmute yourself.
She is unmuted, but we can't hear.
Heidi, we'll come back to you in a second if you can work on that. Kevin, go ahead, please.
Yes, and I want to congratulate Erewhon for withholding those rent payments. Yes, keep up the good work. I support that. And How many times have we seen those fucking trucks parked there? For months and months and months. Yes, because of Paul Martin Krikorian. And don't forget his evil deputies. Yes, and all the evil in that office. This is why this happened. Brandon tried to stop it. He tried to make a delivery system. So this time, we can't blame Brandon. But I blame one person. Jessica Fulgate. Yes, the international criminal that used to work in that office. She's the one that was there the whole time. And Lisa Karjakian. Where is she all of a sudden? Why isn't she here to address this? They left this mess with us. Now we must correct course. And as far as that statement, complaints, they haven't begun to see complaints. Yes, they're going to see more and more and more complaints and more parking tickets as we begin towing away those trucks. Get out of our public right of way and get onto public property to private property so that Brandon and Scott can drive their cars in their
And that's time. Please conclude your comment.
They have to get home to their overpriced little houses.
Heidi, are you able to unmute yourself and make your comment? Heidi? You seem unmuted. Your microphone shows on, but we're not hearing anything. Janine, go ahead, please.
Hi there. Yeah, this is what I referred to in my earlier comment. It's really a dangerous situation. As you try to make a right out of the Sportsman's lot, the trucks are there. You cannot see by them until a car is right on you. And as we all know, that is the opening to a commuter highway. It's a little scenic highway, but it is a commuter artery nonetheless. So people are flying when they're coming through there. And I have to say, I've been one of the residents contacting Ben at Midwood, and it's been over a period of months now. So I do personally take a little exception to his saying that they are doing this ongoing correction on this, because it's really been long and ongoing, and there's going to be dangerous accidents there. And even what's more dangerous is I just saw a video from a neighbor taken today that these trucks are backing out of the loading dock directly onto Coldwater Canyon. So they're not just parking there, they are backing out onto Coldwater Canyon and then moving. And these are really huge delivery trucks. It was a shocking video to see. So this is a very dangerous situation, and it's a real public safety issue. And Midwood needs to correct it like immediately. So
Time, please conclude your comments.
Heidi, are you able to get your microphone to work? No? Peter Cole, go ahead.
Hi. Ben can have an objection to countless. How many times do we have to complain about it? It's really not that difficult. They built it, they designed it. The mistakes are squarely on their shoulders. And this has been going on for years. We knew this was going to happen, and now it's coming home to roost. But it's not just this. What's going to happen when they tear out the majority of the parking lot to excavate for the underground parking? Where are all the cars that are in the parking lot going to go? And then what about staging trucks for 500 plus apartments where people have to move in? And then what about when their friends come over? Where are they going to go? This is just the beginning. This is a big mess. They're trying to stuff 500 pounds of you-know-what in a small box. And this is not our fault that they couldn't make a deal and buy that gas station and get more room. So perhaps they need to redesign the next phase of their project to accommodate another loading dock and another way to get materials in and out without getting in the way of Coldwater. Thank you.
Heidi, I'm trying you again. Unmute yourself. You're unmuted, but your microphone is not working. Patrice, go ahead, please.
Hi, guys. I'll make it short. I know it's really late. I've been there before. So we've been fighting this for 10 years. And one of the biggest things was the lack of parking for this project, and it's coming to fruition. And it's horrible, you guys. It's just it's not even totally open. There's more stores to come, and there's no parking, and there's going to be an accident. Someone's going to get hurt, and who designed this? I mean, was it their architect? Was it their engineer? Did DOT fail? Somebody failed with this, and we're not even done yet. The stores aren't even opened yet, and the gym just opened, and we have people invading our neighborhoods. So really appreciate you guys taking a good look at this, because it's really important for everybody in Studio City that commutes through Ventura Boulevard and Coldwater Canyon, and lots of projects coming up, and it's super serious for all of us. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you. And Heidi, this is your last chance. I'm going to lower your hand. So we'll go back to the board. Just let me give a brief update. To Ben's credit and Midwood's credit, they have been responsive by moving the parking gates substantially inside the interior of the parking lot. Why they were so close to Coldwater Canyon, I think that beggars belief. There are experts who design this stuff. I'm not disparaging them, but it was kind of a mess to begin with. He was responsive to the left turn lane that was put in. Again, this passed the transportation department and all the planners and designers, and there was no left turn lane dedicated to turn in. That was a mess. That's now been resolved. People were parking on Coldwater Canyon in the traffic lane. The curbs are painted now. So this is all from the hard work of our board, our committees, and our stakeholders. And I will use the word countless complaints, because they were countless. And I think it's wrong to be so supportive and then take exception that the complaints are countless. The LAPD is involved, Department of Transportation, this board, the committees, and the LAPD, and many of the stakeholders. This had been a known issue for a very long time. The last point I want to make is the relation to the residents at Sportsman's. Of course, there's a relation to it, because they're going to be using the same entrance on the same street that's blocked up because of the trucks blocking the traffic lane. So I'm surprised that's the response we got. I am happy that he's supporting the motion otherwise, and I expect there'll be something done. I'm not sure what that they can do, but there's been lots of suggestions about redesigning the loading dock, moving it, adding a new one, what have you. Anybody else from the board have any comments or questions? Adele, go ahead.
Sorry. I have Heidi McKay on speaker because
Oh,
she
great.
really wanted to speak, so I think she can speak and you can hear her. Go ahead, Heidi.
Hi, I'm sorry, my computer microphone is really messing up, but I'm calling it just to basically support number 10. The same as what everybody has already talked about. I live up Coldwater, and it's been a nightmare before even the main construction's done. So it's all been said. I just want to say that I completely support this motion, and I hope, as it sounds like, even Ben as well. So I just wanted to say that I definitely support number 10.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
And my comment also, I just would like to make a comment that I drive up and down Coldwater, a lot. And there are trucks parked there at like 7 a.m. blocking the traffic, at 3 p.m. blocking. I mean, it's just really a disaster and quite dangerous. And I've even seen a huge truck backing up in the wrong lane down Coldwater. Like, I was like horrified. And Yeah, it's only a matter of time until someone really gets hurt there. Plus, I have never in my life, I've lived here like 36 years. I've never seen anybody walk across cold water. And now people are walking across. I mean, we probably need a light there or something. But I also think that the loading dock can't be on cold water. It has to be somewhere else. And they have to reconfigure that because it is freaking really dangerous. So.
Thank you. Chip, go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is a mess, and this is far worse than I expected. I thought when everyone was getting bent on the traffic issue, the outcry was a bit misplaced, and I was wrong. This has been a concern from day one. There has been a fatality of a pedestrian in that block maybe 3 months ago. I think it was unrelated to the development, but there was still someone killed. The fact that Ben has been, as Scott said, as legitimately well-intentioned and diligent about making improvements, but the situation has not gotten better, is a real warning sign. Structurally, we may just not be able to get what we want out of the property. And there are some, there's a holding capacity situation. It may be just that we're not able to sit there and have the traffic that Midwood would like functionally getting in and out of the property. I'm assuming the gym, like all gyms, will see their attendance drop once the novelty goes off. But Peter Cole's comment has been the other problem. You currently have the gym, you're going to build the residence, you have to have no parking for a period of time or very reduced parking to be in the construction process. This just doesn't work, and it should be a full stop on the residents, and they really need to figure out what to do to fix this. And it may be that what they have got approval for in terms of retail and traffic oversubscribes what can be done with any good intention and any good thinking and any good structure. It just doesn't support it.
Randy, go ahead, please.
Hi, thanks, Scott. So just two thoughts. One is, so I've been there almost every day between 10 o'clock or at 10 or at 2. And at least as far as parking goes and the attendance, I actually find it to be quite efficient. What's not efficient, and I think has already been said, is as it relates to the trucks. I mean, clearly there's been a breakdown between Midwood and Erewhon, given that there's a lawsuit, because Erewhon's apparently not paying rent of some amount. And so I just wonder about, one, aside from this step, I'm wondering about if there's a way, whether we get support from a council office regarding their CUP, and to see if there's a way to put more pressure. So if we affect their capacity to, or if we can try to put pressure on their capacity to actually operate as a market appropriately, that maybe that will get them as well. In addition to obviously getting hopefully Midwood to do something. And then the last thing I'll say just about parking, which I realize is probably not the most popular. Living in a city means people will park on your streets. We don't own the streets. I don't own the curb in front of my house. And while yes, sometimes it's annoying and or frustrating because I live between two schools. I live between Walter Reed and Campbell Hall, and especially Walter Reed around 3 o'clock. There are cars throughout my neighborhood. I hate to say it, but I think that's a trade-off of living in a city. You don't own the street and you don't own the curb in front of your house. And I just think it's, on that side, I think we also just be mindful. It's created jobs in our community. And I think it's to say that people shouldn't park in front of your house because it's your house or your curb, to me just seems, it seems wrong-minded given that we live in a big city. So anyway, thanks.
Jeff, go ahead, please.
Yes, real quick. I echo Chip's concerns about the impending project at Sportsman's with tens of thousands of dump trucks with excavated materials taking that route. It's going to be a huge disaster. So, this portends an apocalyptic scenario, given what's going on here with just this little stretch of cold water. And secondly, I think Midwood should put in a security camera. I think their offices are right there. Why don't they string up a camera and then determine the extent of the problem and have a view of all deliveries? And then that way, they can determine whether or not there are countless complaints or not, whether they're justified. Thanks.
Julie?
Yeah, I just want to agree with that. I have been hearing about this problem ever since the place opened, and I don't see why it's so hard, how it's so hard to monitor a giant truck in the street. How can you not see that and put a stop to it? So I just want to support this and say we should do everything we can to pressure them to stay out of parking on Coldwater. It's terribly dangerous.
Thanks, Julie. By the way, I was driving by there this morning and there was a truck blocking the traffic lane and causing some grief. They do have cameras. They do know who's doing it. And I don't know why they're not able to remedy it. It might be the design of the loading dock versus the size of the trucks or what have you. But the personnel there are receiving the materials from the trucks parked on the street. It seems almost a no-brainer. I'm not going to tell them how to do their job, but they are to be instructed to not receive the materials if they're parked in the street and send the truck away. But I'm not in a position to do that. And I'm by that area every day as well when I do my bike rides, and it's a pretty big mess. When this project was originally going through the council before I was on the board, this issue of parking and the loading dock was brought up before construction. And the stakeholders were assured that people would not be parking in the street, there'd be adequate parking, and it would be an adequate loading dock. And as we can see, it's not. And as the project continues to move forward, it's possibly going to get worse unless some drastic measures are taken. That being said, I think we can vote on this.
This is motion 10. I was moving. Okay, so motion item 10. Kim Clements,
Yes.
Dean Cutler,
Yes.
Randall Freed. Randall? Randy? Is he still here?
Oh, it looks like he's gone.
Okay.
Let me check the attendees and see if he dropped off and
Okay.
needs to be promoted.
We can come back to him while we check. Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mendel,
Yes.
Chip Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Certainly, yes.
Karen Soar is absent, Alexis Steinberg is absent, Adam Summer. Adam? Is he still here?
I believe he had to drop off. He did mention he was on the East Coast, so it's getting late for him.
Okay. Avi Velasco, yes. Adele Slaughter,
Yes.
Fiona Duffy.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Bear with me, folks. This is another motion from me. Number 11, I'm sure you can understand why I brought this. The Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, supports Council File 22-1189, title Elected Officials, Offensive Misconducts, Immediate Resignation Demand, Censure. During a meeting among council members Nuri Martinez, Kevin De Leon, and Gil Cedillo, along with local labor leader Ron Herrera, the group participated in extended discussions that were fraught with blatantly racist and hateful comments. For these reasons, The SCNC supports the following action. The City Council of Los Angeles does hereby resolve that council members Neri Martinez, Kevin De Leon, and Gil Cedillo are hereby censured for their conduct and statements during the referenced meeting of October 2021, and the council joins the community in demanding their immediate resignation from the council. Brought by me. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Thank you. Without further ado, public comment on what I just read. Kevin, go ahead, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Leon.
Well, thank you, everybody. Well, I had a number of press conferences today. I'm not going to resign. That's Nuri's problem. That's Gil's problem. I'm not going to resign. And you can't make me. Nah, 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 nah. Yeah, the censure doesn't mean shit. I'm still going to collect my $229,000 base pay plus my full medical and other benefits valued at $87,000 a year. I still get my free car, my free gas. I still got my $1.4 million office holder account. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat, right? What are you guys gonna do, huh? You're gonna do fucking shit. That's what you're gonna do. That's what I said on the tape, right? What are you gonna do? What do you want, puppet?
Well, I'm here to give you bad news.
What?
The longer you stay, the longer the FBI will play.
I don't know what to believe. Do I believe a little talking animal or do I believe my conscience? I got into City Hall. I only wanted to run for mayor. I didn't give a fuck about the city. But I think I'll stay on the job and collect my salary. If you don't want me to work, I'll just sit home and.
That's time. Please conclude your comments.
Yeah, I'll sit home on a $300,000 a year paid vacation. Thank you.
Not seeing any more hands from the public. If anyone from the board has anything to add, there are quite a few motions floating around the city council right now. Some are moot points and some are related to new procedures that will be addressed in an upcoming government affairs committee. This was the one that seemed to be getting the most traction, the most response from the public, the most response from other neighborhood councils, although some neighborhood councils decided to chime in with some very long motions, and they were well written, and we would probably all support them. I figured I'd craft one that was just a little shorter and supportive in the interest of time. Not seeing any hands. I guess we could vote on this.
We're voting on item 11. Kim Clements,
Yes.
Dean Cutler,
Yes.
Randall Freed, absent. Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mandel,
Yes.
Chip Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Nitterberg.
Here.
Yes or no? Are you for it or against it, Richard? We're voting on 11. Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Thank you. Karen Soros absent. Adam Summer, he's left. Alexa Steinberg is absent. Abby Velasco, yes. Adele Slutter,
Yes.
Fiona Duffy,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. On to 12. Jeff Hartwick, take it away, please.
All right, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, supports Council File 22-1088, title Automated External Defibrillator, AEDs, City Parks and Recreation Facilities, Location and Utilization, Maintenance and Infrastructure Costs. More than 356,000 Americans experience cardiac arrests outside of a hospital every year. and less than 10% survive. It is estimated that up to 30% of victims could survive if they had access to an immediate medical response, such as cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and defibrillation. In many public buildings, automated external defibrillators, AEDs, are required. Unfortunately, there are no requirements that AEDs be made available at public parks. The city of Los Angeles should take the lead and rectify this void. It therefore makes sense to have the Department of Recreation and Parks, RAP, report back to the city council on the number and location of AEDs at RAP facilities, a record of utilization of AEDs, a plan for implementing AEDs at every RAP facility in the city, and costs associated with the plan. This motion is also to be submitted as a community impact statement, CIS, to Council File 22-1088. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I was shocked to know that our local parks are not required to have these AEDs. I know lots of schools are required by law to have them, et cetera. So it kind of makes sense to have one available in case there is some kind of circumstance which requires immediate response. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll go to public comment on the motion that Jeff just read regarding defibrillators. Kevin, go ahead, please.
Yes, and I believe Richard has his hoof up. Yeah, look at how they ignore him. Yes, such disrespect. So now, of course, who could possibly be against this? But I have a friendly amendment. I think a free defibrillator should be put in each of the residences of the following officials. Mary Louisa Martinez, doing business as Bimbo, Gilbert Tiberius Cedillo, and of course, Kevin De Leon. Yes, going through all the pressure they're going to be going through, a defibrillator could be a very good investment for them, yes. And I think for their years of service, I think you should add that on your motion to put that for free in their house. And any other FBI targets that are waiting at home for their paperwork. Yes, just like school, when you play hooky, you wait for the principal to give you a note. Of course, the note's going to come from people with little initials on the back of their jackets. I agree with that, actually. Well, thank you, human. And now we'll hear from Richard with his hoof up.
Not seeing any more hands raised for public comment. Richard, you have a comment or a point to make on this? Go ahead.
My only point is I went through the full training for both the regular defibrillators for adults and also the pediatric defibrillators. I assure you this is a very good idea. They're self-explanatory. They talk you through the use, so anybody who's never seen them before can still use them. Therefore, I'm very much in favor of having it in the recreational facilities. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Kim?
Well, thank you, Richard, did answer some of my questions on this. As well as I do wonder what the cost is, which is not comparable to a human life. That's not where I'm going at all. But the cost, and if it's in a park, in a public area like that, where people might get into in the night and whatnot, chances are there would be vandalism or even misuse by, people thinking they're being silly with one another or something. So I was just kind of curious about some of those thoughts about, how many of these would just be demolished if we actually put them there, or used improperly by people.
It's not really a problem. They have them in a lot of facilities like public theaters. I personally put them in 185 live theaters, and they haven't been damaged or stolen yet. And they're just a public space, just like a park. They're just.
Well, but a park is open at night. Is this inside offices, or is this just, somewhere that people could get to it at 3 a.m?
A lot of times we're just in the park office, which is locked. That's the way we would normally do it. In my case, I put them in lobbies, but they're still safe.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, to address Kim's question, yeah, they would be inside the office. I don't believe that they're going to be left outside where an untrained person would be able to access them. Also, this requires a report, so the city will have to delve into how much it's going to cost per defibrillator, where they're to be located, the ones that are existing on facilities, what is the record of use of them? So it's really asking for a report, and then they're going to figure out exactly what to do and where to place them and that sort of thing. Thanks.
I think, not seeing any other hands or questions, I think we can vote on this one.
We're voting on item 12A. Kim Clements,
Yes.
Dean Cutler,
Yes.
Randall Freed is absent. Ira Gold,
Yes.
Jeff Hartwick,
Yes.
Julie Houlihan,
Yes.
Scott Mendel,
Yes.
Chip Meehan,
Yes.
Brandon Marino,
Yes.
Richard Niederberg,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Karen Soros absent, Adam Summers absent, Alexa Steinberg is absent, Abby Velasco, yes, Adele Slaughter,
Yes.
Fiona Duffy,
Yes.
motion passes.
Great. Almost finished, folks. And now I'm sure, as you know, on item 13, it's a new tradition here because I like to say good of the order, brief comments of board members on items not on the agenda. If anyone hasn't had enough and wants something else to say, now is your chance. Raise your hand. Please be brief. Kim?
Just a quick thing, since we do have our infrequent budget meeting coming up Monday night. We are still in need of a committee chair. If anyone knows anyone who'd like to be a part. And in general, I think most committees can use extra hands, period, the end. So if anybody, wants to rope in neighbors or people to join the committees, please do so. Thanks.
Thank you, Adele.
Oh, it's just a little something that came up when I think Jeff was talking about the construction of sportsman's, whatever they're going to call it. At Harvard Westlake, they want to excavate 250 cubic tons of dirt, and at Sportsman's, they want to excavate over 400 cubic tons, almost twice the amount of dirt. And at Weddington, I think it'll be around 3,000 truck trips or more. I don't even, it's like 300 truck trips a day for like a year or so. I don't know. I can't remember the numbers because I'm not really great with numbers, but imagine like double that. And then imagine both of those projects overlapping. I just don't know how we don't have the infrastructure in the streets to deal with that. And I think you really want to think about that and really, sort of take that in. It's pretty alarming. And I think that, I think pushing back on the size of both of these projects is really important. So I just wanted to make, that point because Jeffrey reminded me of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Otherwise, out of an abundance of caution, there is a hand raised for a comment on good of the order. And then we're going to adjourn. Kevin?
Yes, and again, it's a Huff. Yes, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on Fox 11, they're going to have a town hall with the LA Times about our struggles, about the Nuri Luisa Martinez tapes. Yes, it'll be an hour long, but they won't give the location of. Maybe Scott could tell me where the location is, so Goat Puppet could show up and take the microphone and ask a pretty question in person. Otherwise, they're gonna hide where it is. Yes. Do you trust the LA Times and Channel 11? Yes, I see Ira's got his hoof up. He doesn't trust them either. Yes, don't trust them. Trust yourself. trust Kevin De Leon, yes. He's gonna stay in office until they drag him out kicking and screaming with a subpoena and an arrest warrant. Yes. But we'll let Ira talk more about it.
Ira, did you have a brief good night comment?
Very brief. Yeah, there's a fee waived adoption event this weekend. I know Paul Krikorian sent it out in his Valley News, but I'm a big proponent for these. So if you're looking to adopt, or you know anybody who's looking to adopt, LA Animal Services will be waiving their fees. You can call them for more specifics, but that's happening Friday through Sunday. Thanks.
Thanks, Ira. Thank you, everybody. We got a lot accomplished. It was just a little over 3 hours. That wasn't too bad. Welcome again to our two new board members, Adele and Fiona, and you'll be getting some emails explaining what to do next. Thank you for all the input from the public. We had some good public comments tonight, and we had some very good board comments as well that helped with a lot of the agenda items. Thank you all for attending and participating. And check your emails, everybody. Some of you don't respond to emails, so check your emails. Without objection, we're adjourning this meeting at 10:19. Good night, everybody, and thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.